What's going on, guys? It's Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, frontproofmedia.com, joined with the infamous Ted Czech for episode number 33 of Evil and Intoxicated. What's going on, Ted?
Hey, Eddie. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. Crazy week here in the States, and I don't know, man. There's a lot going on here in New Haven, a lot of violence going on, but there's a lot of MMA news going on to, kind of delay that.
Yeah, say it ain't so, man. Violence? You're kidding me.
Yeah. Well, listen to this. The pizza guy got robbed.
The pizza guy? What pizza
town.
guy?
3 pizza guys got robbed 3 different times.
Wow. I was reading, because I get all sorts of national feeds. I work in the news business, and I don't know I forget where this was, but somebody tried to rob a pizza guy. They shot him twice. And then he pulls out his gun, and he's like, bang, 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 bang. He returned fire. And they were like, whoa, we got to get out of here.
The pizza dude?
The revenge of the pizza man. Yeah,
Jesus.
hell yeah.
Stocked and ready to go. That's wild.
Pizza man bringing the heat. That's right. Good for him. I mean, I hope he's okay. He got, one in the leg, and then they got, another in his side or something like that. I hope he recovers all right. But
it's just crazy. I was talking about it on my podcast. Some people, even fighters, they got to work like 3-4 jobs. Maybe not that many, but you know what I mean. And you got to worry about, getting robbed at gunpoint and stuff like that. Like, city's getting a little brutal over here in New Haven, along with the rest of the world. But it's Wednesday night, Ted, and you know what that means. It's time to get away with a little MMA news.
That's right.
Remind everybody what's going on in the world of MMA. We got a fun night set up for everybody. We're going to be talking about Tito Ortiz. We're going to try to debunk this Tito Ortiz drama of the Chael Sonnen fight being fixed. I think that's ridiculous. We're going to break down the co-main event there against Ward versus Daly. Then there's some fight announcements that came out this week for the UFC. We're going to break down UFC Fight Night Shevchenko versus Juliana Pena. And we got a couple more things, Ted. What else are we going to be covering?
Well, we've got the live chat going. I'm just saying hello to Ann's here and Truth Inferno so far, so that looks great. Yeah, we're going to go over Bellator 170. We're going to talk about that. You mentioned that. Also, with Bellator 170, Daly versus Ward.
Yes.
One hell of a fight there. Stipe Miocic and J.D.S. 2, the rematch, has been signed for UFC 211. You mentioned UFC on Fox 23. Then we have also this weekend Bellator 171 on Friday, I believe, right?
Yep.
And then we've got some news about Ronda Rousey, or Honda Housey if you're Brazilian. And finally, Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw in a meme war, which I think is pretty funny. So, yeah, just chock full of MMA news.
Yeah,
hey,
man,
here. Go ahead.
It's been a crazy week in MMA, and I think a lot of people missed a lot of the news that was going on this week. So, got to catch everybody up on it. Of course, this season Ultimate Fighter is coached by Cody Nolov and TJ Dillashaw. That's going to be an exciting season because the backstory is all there. We talked about it. Before we start today's show, Ted, I just want to let everybody know the new episode of Pure Evil MMA is up right now on Podbean and iTunes. Episode number 35, we replay Valentina Shevchenko's interview I did with her, talking about the fight with Juliana Pena and why they turned down that fight. They're supposed to fight originally at UFC 205, Ted. We're going to be breaking down this card later on in the episode, so if you guys want to take a full look at some of the other contenders on this card, make sure you check out Pure Evil MMA episode number 35 now up on iTunes. But me and Ted, we're going to be breaking down some of the bigger fights on that card. There's a lot of big names there, a lot of names you've seen headlining pay-per-views.
Yeah, man. So I mean, it's UFC on Fox. These are one of the it's one of the bigger cards. I mean, they have the other Fox cards, but these are the bigger ones. So yeah, we are going to see a lot of familiar faces and familiar names for sure. And it's headlined by the women.
And it's headlined by the women. Another huge.
That's right. Where's the women? Where's your women?
All right, Ted. What have you been up to this weekend? You know what we like to do before we start things off.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know me. I'm covering the news here in South Central PA. But something I read. This happened in, I think it was Louisiana. It's the craziest thing I've heard this week. There was a tornado. That's probably not crazy, right? They probably get them fairly often. I think it was Shreveport, Louisiana. So a tornado hits this house. I guess it's just before the tornado's going to hit. This woman who's in the house, she hops in a tub because she figures the tub is the safest place for her to be. Sounds, I mean, it's just a little bit of...
They used to tell us to hide under a chair if there was a bomb. What the hell is that going
to
do?
Yeah, because that's going to help, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember, I think it was Lethal Weapon 2. There was a bomb that they had to defuse, and they hopped in a tub, and that shielded them from the bomb. But anyway, so this woman hops into this tub, no lie, hops into the tub. The tornado tears through her house and actually kind of catapults or launches her in the tub, like, shoof, out of the house, no lie. And then she lands, I guess, upright, or like, lands on the feet of the tub or whatever, like in the woods away from her house, but uninjured.
I was listening
Crazy.
I have Netflix, so there's like a whole bunch of shows on there, and there's this show called like Urban Legends.
Yeah.
Or like myths or something like that, and it's all these crazy stories. You got to figure out which one's true, which one's false. This is the craziest story I've ever heard, Ted. This guy was like in a car accident. He was on an airplane, and then he got sucked out the door, and he landed in a pile of hay, and somehow survived. Then when he turned 80, won the lottery, and I was like, "There's no way, right? There's no way that's gonna be true." End of the show. It was the only true story on there.
Oh, so they give you a number of stories, and they're like, okay, which one of these is true out of these?
Yeah, and it was,
all right.
I couldn't believe it. Once they were like, it seemed like they were kicking a dead horse. They were like, then he was in a plane and gets sucked out and somehow landed in a pile of hay. Like, all right. And then he won the lottery. What? What? The luckiest dude on the face of the earth. But,
Wow.
All right, Ted, let's jump into a little of the, let's debunk something. There's something that's been really bothering me this week. Bellator seems to always get this bad rap, it seems like. A lot of people are always saying that Bellator, whether it's Kimbo Slice versus Data, that it's fixed, it's rigged, and I don't think that was the case this week. And I saw that you actually did a video on your page kind of trying to debunk it, and if you guys at home listening to the podcast or watching us live right now had a chance to watch the fight or watch the replay of it, there was nothing fishy that I saw besides that hand motion. Now, I'm gonna send it over to Ted right now to kind of bring you through this, to explain why people kind of thought it was fishy, so to say, and then I'll give you why I thought it wasn't, and we'll go from there. Ted, you want to bring everybody through the fishiness of this fight?
Yeah, man. Yeah, so we had Tito Ortiz versus Chael Sonnen, and the fight didn't last very long, and there was one point where Tito was they were both on the ground. The fight goes to the ground, and Chael is working for a front choke. And Tito, I believe it was his left hand. He kind of does this. He motions towards himself with his hand. And, in the realm of hand motions in MMA, you see guys, they're in a guillotine or whatever, they give the thumbs up. Or, tapping. That's another one. But this wasn't a tap unless you would call it an air tap. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't tapping any part of his body. He wasn't tapping the mat. He was motioning towards himself. And so a lot of people interpreted that as he was communicating with Chael Sonnen, because in pro wrestling, pro wrestlers talk to each other on the mat, and they also use hand motions to communicate with each other. So people were saying, oh, well, they're clearly, this is not clearly, but it's possible that it's a fixed fight because of that hand motion. And also, at some point after that, Chael releases the hold, and I think it kind of went around to Tito's back, if I remember correctly. Yeah. People thought that was a little bit funny. Then the finish of the fight is Tito has Chael's back, and he has it's not a rear naked choke because it was not under the neck. It was clamped down on Chael's chin. And I think Bas Rutten described it as a blood choke. And you did actually see Chael's face turn purple. Other people call it a neck crank.
Yeah, that's what I've been calling it.
But sometimes with a neck crank, you're actually twisting the person's neck over to one side or the other.
We saw it in the Ronda Rousey fight, in her first fight.
Right, with Liz Carmouche. Liz
Yeah.
Carmouche got her in a neck crank. Took her back and got her in a neck crank. And it's my understanding, you typically with a neck crank, that's motivate, or that's has to do with pain. It's not that you're cutting off the blood supply. It's more of a pain thing. You can't stand the pain because it's crushing your jaw.
Yeah.
So those were the kind of the little pieces of evidence, if you will. But going back to what you started off with, Bellator has kind of garnered this reputation as the organization that stages fixed fights at times. And if you look at Shamrock versus Kimbo, why on earth did he let go of that rear naked choke? Right?
Yep.
He's Ken frickin' Shamrock. The guy was submitting people left and right in his heyday. Then also Shamrock versus Gracie. People thought that was a bit funny. And then you got this one. So then I started thinking about it. I'm like, maybe, remember how Pat Miletich described all these old timers as the Geritol posse? All of those fights that I mentioned, that you mentioned, even Kimbo versus Dada, those guys were older too. They're all older dudes. Maybe this is what happens when you have fights with older fighters. It doesn't look the way that a fight between two 25-year-old studs does.
I can see where you're saying that, but there was nothing here that made me think that it was weird at all.
Oh, okay.
Well, besides it being a little slower, you know what I mean? A little slower with the reaction, but not as delayed as the reaction of Ken Shamrock getting hit in the balls of 30-second delay and being, oh, no. It wasn't like that or anything. But like you said, the hand motion, Ted.
Right.
That was the one thing that you could say, but there's no evidence of this being a fake fight. Both former UFC fighters. It's Tito's last fight. I doubt he'd want to go in there, and unless something happened, unless there was a huge injury. But if somebody gets caught for that, Ariel said it on a show this week, somebody can get in a lot of trouble, even wind up in jail if they get caught.
Caught? For fixing a fight?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's I don't know what the charge would be, but I would gather it is illegal. Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's probably, I would guess, there's many ways that you could do it. I mean, it could be something where it's an agreement just between the two fighters, or maybe just one fighter. Maybe just one fighter decides to throw the fight and doesn't even communicate with his opponent at all. Or maybe it goes up above. Maybe it's the promoter talking with the two fighters, or maybe or just one fighter, or maybe it's even an outside influence. Some other person.
Well, we've seen this overseas a lot.
Right. Pride had some fights. Pride was kind of notorious.
Yeah.
For fixing fights.
Nakara, or what are they called? The Akuru.
Oh, the Yakuza.
The Yakuza
or Yakuza. Yeah, that's basically the mafia over there in Japan.
They run everything. Everything.
That kind of ruined Pride. I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how they came into play with these fixed fights, but there was one with Mark Coleman and Nobuhiko Takada that everybody says was. But even here in the States, Dan Severn and oh God, what is this guy's name? Well, there was this one particular fighter, I can't remember, his name escapes me at the moment, but the two of them were actually seen talking to each other while they were fighting. And I mean, we see fighters, maybe talk trash to each other, but this wasn't, the belief was that they weren't doing that.
There's some videos online, if you guys are listening to, and you're interested in this. There's like a bunch of top 10 videos of the most controversial fixed fights out there. Bob Sapp's on a lot of them.
Well, Bob Sapp has been and even admitted to, he's taking the easy way out. He's throwing fights on his own because he's not gonna. He says he's just not gonna take the damage.
Not my Michael.
Yeah, so he says, that's it.
Little Michael.
Yeah, so he's just, he just decides I'm done, and he flops. He does like a soccer flop, or what, like they. I guess they do it in basketball too. They just kind of flop. Oh, I'm hurt. I'm injured. Oh my head.
Yep.
Yeah. So Eddie, you don't see it. I
No.
at least see the possibility that because
I
that
don't even see the possibility.
so weird to me that I've never seen anybody do that. Ann thinks it's fixed. Fixed.
Really?
That's what she says.
What would cause them to want to fix the fight, though? I mean, wouldn't they set it up for not Tito to win, but Chael to win?
Well, that's the question that a lot of people have asked, but I was thinking, well, I mean, it's a send off for Tito, to
why
ride
have
off.
it with Chael, Ted? Why do it with Chael Sonnen? They got a whole bunch of other guys they can have Tito go out on his retirement with to look good against. Why Chael Sonnen?
I don't know. I don't know. I never
And
really.
why the first round?
that?
And why finish it in the first round? I mean, at the beginning of the fight, Tito was exchanging with him. He was exchanging with Chael, caught him a couple of times. I don't know if Chael was trying to go
There
for like
wasn't
a
much,
single.
though. There were only a couple of strikes thrown.
Yeah, there was a couple of strikes, but he hit him. And then he got to the ground. We all know how powerful Tito Ortiz is. Imagine Tito Ortiz cranking on your neck. Your face is going to turn purple and you're going to tap.
Oh no, that part definitely looked real to me. I mean, Chael Sonnen, and Chael is susceptible to the submission. I mean, how many times has he been submitted? 9, 10 times.
Yeah.
So we know he's
known for giving up.
We
talked about it last week.
You could say that, yeah. So that part I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at everything here. Maybe it's just this is how old fighters fight. But my best conclusion is the best way to put it for me is maybe this is just the way old fighters fight. But that hand motion was really weird. Okay.
And the movement on it was weird. He moved exactly when he did the hand motion.
Yeah, that part is just weird. All right, I just got to say it's like you said, it's fishy.
It's fishy. It's fishy,
Yeah.
but there's no proof. There's no evidence. There's only talk.
No, I mean that's yeah. You could. I mean that's what else? I mean, yeah, we don't have anybody saying. There's nobody that's come forward and said, I'm only speaking in anonymity, but yeah, that was definitely fixed.
Guys,
there's nobody that said that. No deep throat or anything like that. That said that.
And Ted, this isn't necessarily a bad thing for people to think it's fixed, to try to look for that kind of stuff, because it does happen. It's happened in the past, and we get robbed when that kind of stuff happens. If that's
Right.
happening, we want to get that out of there. So it's not a bad thing that people are bringing it up or saying this looks fishy, but to accuse somebody of it is a whole different thing.
Right. We need to keep, as the hardcores, we need to try as best we can to keep everybody honest and be like, hey, you know what? Something didn't look right. So, we don't know whether it was fixed or not. But if it was, we got our eyes on you. Huh? We're looking at you. So, I mean, that's what else can we do?
Let's do our closing thoughts here. What's the chat room thinking now?
Well, and I'm glad you asked, Eddie. I am glad you asked. And brought up another great point about the fight, in that Tito kept that choke or that neck crank on longer than he should have. He kind of pulled a Husamar Paul Harris.
Yeah, yep.
Because you had
another good
Big
reason.
John.
Thank you, Ann.
You had Big John tugging on. Come on, Tito, come on, let it go. And there was no need for that.
So another reason. How? If it was fixed, he would have let go immediately.
Possibly. I don't know. Maybe the fix was only as vague as, well, Tito wins. It doesn't matter how he wins, but he is the one that is predetermined to win. I don't know. Okay, Brooklyn's here. Hi, everyone. Chael wasn't himself that night. Well, I mean,
That's
he
another
was
great
juice. Right. Let me just read the rest of what she's saying. He wasn't himself that night. Something was going on. Ronda even had a worse choke position in her first title fight, right? We mentioned that with Liz Carmouche, and survived. Damien usually breaks the jaw to get access, Damien Maya. So, yeah, no, good points all around. I mean, Chael was off the TRT, off the juice. He was up a weight class. Let's not forget, he typically fights at 185.
Another good point.
He's 20 pounds heavier. I mean, he did look very... it's not Brooklyn. The champ is here. Is not. I thought you're Brooklyn.
It's all good.
because she's like, Brooklyn? Who the heck is Brooklyn? Anyway, okay. So I'm just going to keep going. Yeah, so, well, there you go. I mean, I forget. No, I'm totally, Brooklyn, thanks a lot. The champ is here. You totally screwed up my train of thought.
Well, what Brooklyn was saying that the choke was Ronda Rousey's first choke.
Yeah.
Where are we going with that?
Just a Chael. I know Chael wasn't himself. He looked very smooth. Not
shouldn't be fighting at that weight class.
Not in shape.
Guys, he had 3 years away from fighting. He wasn't fighting for 3 years on top of all the USADA and stuff coming in, making all the tests. And I said this on the podcast, Ted. I got the chance to be in the same room as Chael Sonnen, and I told you when it happened, matter of fact. He didn't seem as big as I remembered him to be. He didn't stick out at all. He was literally 10 feet away from me, Ted.
Yeah.
I had no idea he was even there at all.
Oh. Well, he's what, about 6'1", 6 feet, 6'1"?
Yeah, but I'm just saying he looked really skinny, not buff like he used to be.
Yeah.
You know, and tonight we definitely, Saturday night we definitely saw the same thing. We didn't see the same Chael, even though it was at 205. Shouldn't be fighting at that weight class. What, as we end this conversation, what do you think they're going to do with him next? The only one fight I could think of is going against Vanderlei, and you got to wait a little bit for that. But so be it.
I think Chael actually did challenge Wanderlei Silva, right? Didn't he say at some point? I don't know whether it was somewhere in the post fight or somewhere along the line. Didn't he challenge Wanderlei Silva? I think that's what I read somewhere.
Well, that's the reason he signed with Bellator was for that fight.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, those two have a history together. They were supposed to fight in the UFC. They went through the whole Ultimate Fighter thing together. They had a fight, if you want to call it that, in the Tough studio. Right? You remember that?
Yep.
I think Silva swung on Chael. Chael got him in a double.
He almost dipped. He almost ditched the season.
Oh, that's right. And then everybody jumped in, and somebody on Wanderlei's team was punching Chael in the back of the head.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah, they took each other down.
Oh, hey, as an aside, in closing this segment, did you see that Tito's current lady is Amber Nicole Miller, who used to work for the UFC? She was a ring card girl, and she used to do Giants commercials and all that. She's now his girlfriend. And
Giants, wow.
Right, yeah, I'm going back. But Amber Nicole Miller, widely considered one of the hottest UFC ring girls of all time. So they're now together, and then Jenna Jameson got into it. You know, she's tweeting that there's kind of a cat fight going on over Twitter because I guess Amber is hanging out with their kid, with the twins that Tito and Jenna share.
This is that extra MMA news.
Absolutely.
This is that extra news.
It's all in the realm of MMA. And then I mean, because who wouldn't want to see the two of them fight, right?
Yep.
And then I guess Amber Nicole Miller has like a purse. She was photographed with a purse, and Jenna's like, "Hey, that's my purse. What are you doing with it?"
Let's do it the same night they do. Those two rappers. Let's do it the same night they do Soulja Boy versus Chris Brown. How about that?
Oh yeah. Sure. I throw it all in there, man. Oh yeah, absolutely. Talk about your freak fights.
And while we're at it, you might as well get Conor and Mayweather on the card too. But I mean, come on, this could be the biggest freak show on earth.
So yeah. So anyway, I think that's about. Well, and then Chael owns Submission Underground, right? It's a grappling promotion in Oregon where he lives, and it's grappling in a cage, which I really like because it's kind of, you can't roll off the edge of the mat or whatever. You are confined in that cage. So Chael was gonna take on Gary Tonon, who's one of the best grapplers in the world. And then Bellator apparently stepped in and said, "No, you're not, Chael." No. Yeah, it was supposed to happen at the end of this month. Actually, this weekend, I believe, to the 29th, I think. So I didn't know
that. Oh, no, you're not. Oh,
right.
No, you're
not.
Yeah,
I didn't know that Bellator had that type of oversight. I didn't know they had that type of control over their fighters. I thought they kind of let them do You can fight for other organizations, and you can do other outside interests, right? But they pulled Chael from it, and so Tonin is matched up with that Brazilian dude. He goes by Shoeface. I forget his real name. His last name is Junior, but he goes by Shoeface because his face looks like a shoe.
Oh God. There's a lot of people over here on the East Coast that are named that over here by New York. Shoeface. Yo, Shoeface.
Yo, shoe. You say yo, Shoeface, and like 20 people turn around.
Or down in Florida. I bet there's a lot of Shoefaces down in Florida.
Yeah, man. I'm probably because there's a lot of Brazilians down there. They're all at ATT and Jacko or whatever the can they call it the Black Zillions anymore?
Well, no. Over here, if you got like my grandfather, for instance, he's always tan. It could be the middle of the winter. Somehow this dude is still tan. Middle of the winter. So you call somebody like that a Leatherface. It's not like
a Leatherface. Yeah.
It's not like culture thing. It's just some people are just tan throughout the year, so you call them Leatherface. Or they smoke a lot, so they got that brown.
Yeah, that's. I usually if I see an old lady who's got a lot of creases in her face, it's Leatherface. Yeah. Tell him Large Marge sent you.
Tell him Large Marge sent you. That's so funny that you said that, Ted, because on this week's episode of Pure Evil MMA, I was going back to the hamburger train. You remember that?
Is that from Pee Wee as well?
Pee Wee Herman did that role in Cheech and Chong when they're in their restaurant and they're doing all that snow. He like goes under the table. It's like the hamburger train.
Oh, okay. No, I missed
like
that
an
one.
Idiot now.
I missed that one. No, you're good, man. You're good.
Man.
So anyway, Bailey versus Brennan Ward. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. So the flying knee, dude. The flying knee from hell.
Well,
how about that?
Here, man. We were breaking it down last week, Ted.
Right.
And I think you were calling. We both said this is the flip of the coin fight right here.
Right.
Of course, I wanted Brendan Ward to win, being from Connecticut.
Yeah, he's your boy.
He's my boy. So, of course, I was going for him to win. And I told you, the one thing that makes me nervous, remember I said this, the one thing that makes me nervous is him not being afraid to exchange in an all-out war instead of being patient. And
go ahead.
It just didn't end pretty for him, is all I got to say.
No, not at all. He's got a nice big scar.
And I hate seeing fighters brought out by stretcher. That I just want to say that, Ted, your turn.
Oh yeah. That's never good. Never good. But you could say, well, he went out on his shield, so to speak. I mean, I'm sure that Brennan Ward wouldn't have it any other way. He's known as a blood and guts fighter. So
just give me one of these. Give me one of these.
Right. Yeah.
What's that guy's name that did that in football? He got that brutal. It looked like he almost snapped his neck, and then he gave the thumbs up. Or in MMA, we can call it the Barbarina. Remember Brian Barbarina did it not too long ago?
Oh, okay.
When he was getting choked out, he was like, "Bro, I'm good. I'm good." He ended up winning that fight too.
So then you go. So when you're just about to lose consciousness, you do this, right?
Yeah.
You do thumbs down. Yeah. Thumbs down.
If you're a jealous MMA correspondent out there from a different show and you want to go down everyone's videos and give them a thumbs down, got that too.
Yeah, we've got people like that, right, Eddie? On YouTube, they just go, "Oh, thumbs down to you."
Two on every one of my videos, Ted. I brought it up this week on my show. Matter of fact.
Yeah. Every video you do, I give thumbs down automatically.
All two thumbs down. Oh man.
So anyway, so we knew this was going to be a knockdown, drag out. Or maybe not dragged out, but this was going to be a war for as little or as long as it lasted. And, did you see the promo? You probably did. The promo that they did right before the fight. And they were like, yeah, 2 men enter the cage. Rah, rah, rah. It was almost hearkening back to the Just Bleed era, the early UFC when it was no holds barred. That's really what it reminded me of. But, I mean, they had it right. They had it pegged right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Ward did go for a takedown, if I recall, but Daly, the dude's been around for a long time, and he's a striker, and he's been able to develop that takedown defense, and so then when he got back up, he did the spinning back elbow, which I think stunned Ward, and then it was just with the flying knee, and it was that smack of meat that you heard, his knee impacting Ward's face. and I was talking with somebody on YouTube about this, one of my subscribers, and he was like, "Oh man, he's almost definitely got a broken orbital." And I haven't heard, and I don't know if you have, but I mean, he had this, this crescent-shaped cut.
Yeah.
It was at least an inch long. So I don't know. We'll have to. And what about a concussion? He may have suffered a concussion as well.
You know what I always say, Ted? Better to wait a year, take a year off if you have a concussion and you got to rebuild yourself, because we see a lot of people after a vicious knockout like that, never the same again. And you just want to respect that injury. You want to take care of that the right way. The one thing I got to give a hands up to Bellator with, though, man, they got some badass mics. The UFC needs to put money in to get some of the mics that Bellator's got, because they pick up all those noises.
You like that, huh?
I do and I don't. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I remember it was done a while back, years ago, with baseball. Like, they started putting, I think it was Fox, because Fox always been innovative. Yeah, they would put them under the bases, so that you could hear someone sliding into the base, and all that kind of stuff. So it really kind of brings you into the action. No,
it does.
But at the other hand, when you're hearing fighters absorbing punches and you can hear them laboring, like they're breathing and all that kind of stuff. So you're like, wow, that is really, you know what I mean? This is a really serious situation that they're in. I mean, this is not for the faint of heart.
Well, all in all here, Ted, Bellator 170 put on one hell of an event. I mean, there was a bunch of good fights on this card that we could mention, but those are the two fights that everyone's been talking about this week. Those are the two fights that we got to cover for you guys.
Right.
All in all, though, what do you give this? For a Bellator, for a free card, what do you give it? 4 stars? I'm giving it 4 stars. I thought it deserved it. It was had a big names behind it, and it delivered for me, man.
Yeah. What are you saying? 4 out of 5?
Yeah, out of 5 stars.
4 out of 5 stars? I would give it a 4 as well. I thought the whole, the send off for Tito was great. They had the Marines there. And they had the big screens had the American flag. I got into it with a lot of people about that, because a lot of people were like, "Oh no, you shouldn't have the national anthem, for an MMA event." And I disagreed with that. I think that they should have it. My sons play sports, and especially in high school, at least where I live, it's for every sporting event, and I think you should do that. I think you should pay respect to the country that you're in, regardless. I mean, if you hold an event in Brazil, play the Brazilian national anthem. If you hold it in Russia, play the Russian national anthem. I just think, at the very least, you need to show respect and thanks to the host country.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I agree.
But Tito's always been a very patriotic guy.
Remember 9/11 when he walked out for 9/11?
Right. He's always had that flagpole, one side American flag, the other side Mexican flag. He's always been a patriotic guy.
Yeah.
I think he's even got something up on his Twitter right now that's very patriotic. So it was just very fitting. I think they gave him a great send-off. Contrast that with the send-off that Mike Goldberg got or didn't get. It was almost like poof, he's gone.
Bro, let's talk about that. Let's bring some of our listeners up on that whole situation. We didn't really cover some of the more breaking news with that. I mean, we talked about it a little bit 2 weeks ago, but let's bring our listeners back up to speed with this, Ted.
With Mike Goldberg, yeah. I mean, the guy's been with the company for what, 15 years, or between 15 and 20 years. I mean, he's been the voice of the UFC. I mean, all those phrases. Here we go, and it is all over, and
just like that.
Just like that, virtually identical.
Yeah.
And corn nuts, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And I know I've said it before. Sure, yeah, he would flub every now and then. He would mess up, but he was our Goldie. You know what I'm saying? He was our guy, and he even would take part. I mean, like, people would criticize him, and he would get upset about it. I've seen him go off. Somebody was filming him one time, and he was going off on the people that were criticizing him, saying, "Oh, why don't you try it?" But he was our Goldie. You know what I mean? And he was just synonymous. He was part of the fabric of the UFC.
Yeah.
But it had been rumored for several months out, that he was once pretty much not too long after WME IMG bought the company, the rumors started. Oh, Goldie's on his way out. They're going to get rid of Goldie. They're going to get rid of Goldie.
And that's a shame to hear. As a longtime MMA fan, you don't want to hear stuff like that. But the new company, new changes are coming. But that's the last thing that you want to see happen. You know, like a piece of home getting taken away. It's like taking away your old couch or something. You know.
Right, no, absolutely. The majestic Finn is saying, the prodigy, the progeny. Yeah, he didn't say the prodigy. That was awesome. Yeah, it's stuff like that. You know what I mean? I screw up on my YouTube videos all the time. I just laugh and keep going. You know, sure, there's a certain amount of professionalism that you want to have, that you want to always carry yourself with. But at the end of the day, he was Goldie, warts and all. He was our guy.
Well, bro, I get called out all the time, Ted, on my show. I mix up names here and there. People point that out. They love pointing it out. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That's part of what makes you. Part of what makes me. I mean, it's we do stuff, we film stuff raw, and so it's here we are. You know, we're human. Here we are, warts and all, mistakes and all. But they, Ann's right. She said they screwed him over. They really did screw him over because they did not give him a reason. They just said, "You're out. There's the door. You're out." They didn't give him a send off at the last pay-per-view. You know, there was nothing. There's no I don't want what do you want to call it, pomp and circumstance or whatever. You know, there was no thank you Goldie. There's nothing public that was done for him.
Why? That's so weird.
Website. Dana White didn't even call him. He said he never got a call from Dana White. So what's Dana White's response? Well, Goldie was never my friend. No.
Oh God.
No. Remember he said
it before.
Stitch. Remember he said that for Stitch Duran. He said, "Well, Stitch was never my friend." But come on, you can't even tell the guy the reason. Like, I know the truth can hurt, but you can't even give the guy the reason. You can't even say he would understand it, right? If they say, "Look, we took this company over. We've got our own ideas. We have a different direction that we're going in. We really appreciate everything that you've done, Goldie. Here, we'll give you your golden parachute. Here's some money. We thank you for all your work. We're gonna move on." Anything like that. But they didn't say anything to him. And I mean, now he didn't ask either. So but really come on. The honorable thing.
Put yourself in that position. Come on.
Right, the honorable thing would be. Yeah, I mean, if I was Goldie, I'd be like, well, what the hell did I do? I didn't do anything wrong, or I've been doing the same thing all these years. What's different? You know what I mean? So, the honorable thing would be to sit him down and talk to him and give him a reason. But at the end of the day, it's their company and they can do what they want, I guess.
Ted, they brought you know who MMA Digest is, right?
Yeah.
They cover a lot of the sports news. They make some of the funny videos. There was a video that they brought up of Dana White, like we were just talking about. Stitch Duran. Stitch Duran was never my friend. You know how he said that. There's
Right.
a video of Dana talking about Justin Bieber, and the guy doing the interview was like, "Oh, so are you and Justin Bieber friends?" He was like, "Yeah, me and Justin Bieber are friends." And then there's there's a video of him like talking with Bieber on the phone, being all like buddy with him. Like, Stitch Duran was never my friend. Like, what, dude?
Yeah, somebody did another one like that where they took the video of him saying Stitch was never my friend, but they spliced in Dana White saying Mike Goldberg, and then was never my friend. Yeah, I've seen something like that. Yeah, no, but all kidding aside, it's a shame, really. And now they're playing musical chairs with the other guys that they have, whether it's Anik or Cormier or Stan and Rogan. They're like flip-flopping them all around to these various, every event's got a different crew, it seems, because they're trying to get the best mix. But that's the dream team that Dana White was talking about. That's, to me, dream team is you want to get somebody. Dream team is like somebody who's famous somewhere else, like on ESPN or another major network.
I'll tell you what, Ted, when that night comes, when they do have that dream team doing, the night of corresponding or the night of broadcasting, there's going to be a lot of MMA fans out there really critiquing that card that they're doing, you know?
Oh, sure.
So we really got to wait till that moment to really decide, but it just sucks. Like we said, you're taking away family, you're taking away our couch, you're taking away our Goldie.
Yeah.
It's something we don't want to see. There's been a lot of changes with the loss of Stitch Duran, with the loss of Burt Watson, you know?
Yep. Yeah, a lot of the old guard is being shown the door. Look at Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes.
Just getting let go from the UFC a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Now the thing is, it's widely acknowledged that those jobs were given to those guys by Dana White. He wanted to take care of them, you know, because of what they had done for the company. You know, pretty much anything that Dana White wanted them to do, Chuck and Matt would do. But once they got those cushy front office jobs, they never did anything.
Yep.
They didn't do anything with those jobs. They did absolutely nothing. Forrest Griffin, on the other hand, jumped right into the job. He's like, oh, what can I do? Oh, I get involved in this. Oh, I'll sit in on this meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, I got ideas for this and that and the other thing.
He does the weekly.
He actually got involved, and that's why they kept him. See?
He does like the weekly, the rankings now for them.
What's that about the weekly rankings?
Forrest Griffin, he does the weekly rankings now.
Oh,
for
does
them.
he?
Yeah,
Oh,
for UFC Fight Pass, stuff like that.
So he's just doing all sorts. He's a jack of all trades. He's doing whatever you need Forrest to do. Forrest will do. You want him to go to this city and promote the UFC, he'll do it. Do this interview, he'll do it. You know?
Yeah. Yep. A lot of people don't know. He was just coaching with Chuck Liddell the last season Ultimate Fighter for Latin America. Not a lot of people knew that.
I didn't know that.
I remember I told you, like, when the season was over, you were like, what? I had no idea. A lot of people didn't know, man. Weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, so the thing with Goldie, another thing that just crossed my mind is, like, take a look at Bellator. They got rid of, I forget the guy's name. They got rid of one guy, and they brought in this guy, Sean Grandy, who was, I think, a basketball or baseball. You know, you bring him in, and he's got the voice and everything like that. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But he doesn't know anything about the sport, you know? So, you know, at least Goldie didn't know as much as Joe Rogan, but Goldie knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part.
Well,
So, you know, that's the difficulty in bringing in, like, if Dana White has in mind that he's going to bring in some big celebrity play-by-play guy, you know, that maybe has been working for the NFL or for the NBA or whatever. That's the problem.
make sure they know what they're talking about on top of it all, you know? Like, Goldie grew with the sport. You know, he watched it almost evolve through the years. It's going to be hard to find that dream team, I'm telling you. I mean, I know they got some guys in mind. There's been some rumors, but we're just going to have to wait and see, Ted. So, moving forward now, there's been some fight announcements in the UFC. Stipe Miocic going up against J.D.S. Now, remember, Ted, 1 year ago this week was when Cain Velasquez had a drop out of his fight with Fabricio Verdum. Guess who steps up? Stipe Miocic. If I told you last year that Stipe was going to be champion, would you have believed me before that point? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I probably would have said, like, oh, I don't think he's ready. You know, something like that.
I bet at least 60% of people out there didn't really see that coming. Well, he went in there and he stunned Verdum in that first round in Brazil, shocking a nation, bringing that back to Ohio, getting psyched up, going to the Cleveland Cavs game, doing the parade. It's all about him. He defends his freaking title against Alistair Overeem.
Right, or as some people call him, what do they call him now? Econo-Reem, because he's off the juice and he's more economical with his movement and with his striking and everything. So they call him Econo-Reem. But it didn't fare very well for Econo-Reem. He got knocked out.
Yeah, well, remember, Overeem dropped Stipe early on in that fight, then came back. Stipe was chasing him around the octagon, and he got Robert Whittaker. He just got dropped. He got Brunson. Yeah.
Yep. So so then we had, let's see, how was this? Let me see if I can figure this out here, because Verdum was it for the longest time it was going to be Cain versus Verdum and the winner of that would take on Stipe Miocic. The winner of that fight would be the number one contender. And then you had J.D.S. matched up with Stefan Struve at the card that's coming up in Nova Scotia. Then Struve gets injured. And so then I said, and this wasn't anything original. Somebody else, other people were talking about it too. They were like, "Oh, JDS got pulled from the card after Struve got injured. They didn't match somebody else up with JDS. They pulled JDS from the card." So there was a theory out there. Ooh, maybe JDS is going to get a shot against Stipe Miocic.
Oh.
Miocic. That's me starting up my car. Miocic. But anyway, yeah. So there was that belief, and I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine? Verdum is going to be so pissed.
Yeah.
Because Verdum and JDS have been going back and forth. Remember, Verdum is like, well, I think he's gay, and I think he needs to come out of the closet. What?
I hate talk like that.
I mean, look at JDS. The guy did a major upgrade on his women. He had no
He's
offense.
having a baby, man. He's about to be a father.
Yeah. So anyway, but now we have it, and I haven't heard anything from Verdum. I don't know if you have, but he's got to be pissed. Holy crap, he's got to be pissed, people. He has to be, because he I'm sure he was thinking, hey, look, yeah, he might have beaten me, but it was a fluke. He caught me with a lucky punch. However he wants to justify it. So I need to rematch this guy.
Well, check this, Ted. Before J.D.S.'s fight with Big Ben Rothwell, a lot of people were counting him out. A lot of people thought if he lost against Big Ben, they didn't like this matchup for J.D.S., remember? One time, J.D.S. was one of the baddest men on the planet he was represented as. An unstoppable force. He really believed in himself. He had that amazing footwork. Then it kind of diminished away. Up until this fight with Big Ben Rothwell, where he looked absolutely amazing. He was going in there using the jab a lot and exiting. Big Ben was getting frustrated. He ends up winning this fight in 5 rounds. Looks phenomenal. I think he won it. I think he got a perfect scorecard on a couple of the judges' cards that night as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and you're right about that. I mean, if you look back, I look back at his record today, JDS. It's win-loss, 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 win since 2012.
Yep.
So he's hot and he's cold.
Well, he fought Stipe before. Let's remind everybody.
That's true. They fought in, I believe it was 2014.
And JDS won in a decision.
5-round fight of the night, unanimous decision for JDS. I mean, it was one hell of a battle. That's for sure. And I'm sure that Stipe learned a lot from that fight and, gained a lot of confidence even though he lost. They say you learn more in losing than you do in winning.
Yeah.
Or is that just something that losers say? I don't know. But anyway, no, I mean, because you look at since that time, since that fight, Stipe went on to, he beat Mark Hunt by TKO, he beat Andrei Arlovsky by TKO, beat Verdum by knockout to gain the title, and then beat Overeem by knockout for his first title defense.
Freaking Arlovsky. We're going to be talking about him in a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait to break that one down.
Life. But yeah, so anyway, so we're talking about kind of 2 different tracks, between JDS and Stipe Miocic. And here's the funny thing. When I look at when I think about these 2 guys in general, I think that JDS is a lot older than Miocic. He's actually not. He's 2 years younger. He's 32 and Miocic is 34. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It's just that it's just that JDS has and actually
has features that make him look older.
And like the wars with Cain Velasquez, all those 5-round fights that he's had. Yeah. So when I think of JDS, I think he's probably 36 or thereabouts, but no, he's 32. He just probably has a little bit more mileage on him than Stipe does. It's kind of like Shogun and Wanderlei Silva. These guys, they're really not all that old, but MMA years versus regular human years, it's like how many? There's got to be some type of equation for that. Add 5 years per year or something like that. It's.
I just did an interview with a concussion specialist that helped Chris Weidman out after his loss against Luke Rockhold, and he was telling me like Yoel Romero's like 38 years old, but his body is like a 30-year-old's.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean he had a long career in wrestling, so he hasn't been in mixed martial arts for that long.
So now you look at
and he hasn't taken much punishment, at least that we've seen. I mean, I don't know what they do at ATT, but in the cage, legit or prize fighting, he hasn't really taken that much damage. So yeah, I mean, that's probably one of that and good genetics and a little help from the juice.
Well, then you look at somebody like Jose Aldo, who's 29, maybe 30 right now. I think it's 29 actually.
Oh my God, I think he's like in his mid-30s.
Yeah, a lot of people think he's a lot older than what he is. People think he's like 33, 34. The kid's 29 years old. He just had a long career.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, some of these guys, they start real young, and they get a lot of fights in every year. They especially starting out, they try to get as much experience as they can in the shortest amount of time.
Well,
but
guys,
go ahead.
Well, guys, we want to know what you think about this fight, Stipe Miocic versus J.D.S. for the title fight. Ted, when is this fight going down? UFC 211, UFC 210?
UFC 211, May 13th in Dallas, Texas. It's at the American Airlines Arena. It's not. They're not holding it in the.
It's at the airport. It's in the back lot of the airport.
it's in that old hangar back there.
Yeah.
Where we park the Cessnas.
Stipe is going to be back there with a bunch of dudes eating kibasi. Punching frozen meat. Watch it.
So, yeah, this should be a good
Lots
one.
of bags.
It should be a good fight. I mean, it's a rematch. Stipe. Well, the other thing is, Stipe taking issue with the UFC when he found out that Overeem was making more money than he was. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
And my advice was, well, Stipe, just keep winning.
Just keep
And,
winning.
I mean, easier said than done. But keep defending your title. Then the next time you get up to the negotiating table, you say, "Look at what I've done." And do you remember a while back? Didn't Dana White criticize Stipe and say, "Oh, you're not that famous. You're not very well known."
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I mean, the more you win,
Talking about headlining a pay-per-view or something like that.
Yeah. And he said, you need more fans.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they threw him a parade, though. Then they threw him a parade in Ohio. I mean, if there's
Oh,
one
he's huge
place
in
for you to
Ohio.
be,
He's huge in
it's
Ohio.
from the land. Come on.
Believeland. Yeah. So
Bitch, I'm from the land.
yeah. So and here's the other thing. Both of these guys are right about the same size, about 6'4", 240 pounds. Right in there, about the same exact size. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Pat says, what?
First round TKO.
J.D.S. by knockout round 1. I'm leaning towards Stipe in this one.
I am too, Ted. I'm leaning towards Stipe. Well, let's talk about this. Just for 1 minute, last thoughts, Ted. Ready? Go. All right, so if J.D.S. can use that same foot movement that he had in that last fight, I don't know how much of a factor that's going to be because Stipe is always moving forward. He's got that accuracy. He's almost tapped into a whole new level of power behind his striking.
He's leveled up, for sure.
It's scary. J.D.S. doesn't start off that strong in that first round. Stipe comes out ready to go. So, with that being said, it's a tough one to call. But the way that J.D.S. looked in his last fight, this is going to be a war, man. I see this ending a lot later than the first or second round. I'm sorry. I don't see it being a first-round knockout.
Oh, don't be sorry, man.
J.D.S. has respectful power as well, and I think Stipe knows that. Stipe lost to J.D.S. before.
Right.
So there's going to be that mutual respect there. I don't think it's going to be a first-round finish. If it is a finish, probably be the third or fourth round. Leaning towards Stipe, though.
Yeah, and you mentioned Stipe moving forward. Well, I mean, we've also seen him move backwards. I mean, that's how he knocked out Verdum. He was back.
Yep.
Just a short little, punch right on the button.
Which shows how powerful he is. He's moving backwards and making enough force to knock somebody out.
I've always been fascinated by that. Fighters that can do that, like
OSP does it.
What's that?
OSP, Oven St. Peru.
Oven St. Peru, yeah.
He knocked out Shogun like that.
Oh, all right. Yeah, the one I was thinking of was Seth Petrozelli backing up against Kimbo Slice in Elite XC.
Jesus.
Backing up, it was a jab. Boop. That's it. Yeah, that's the noise. That's the noise.
That's the Bellator noise on those mics. Boop.
That's it. Boop, right on the button. That's it. He was done.
Invest on these.
And Tommy Bones says, I got Stipe. Revenge. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I'm thinking another 5-round war. This
I
time,
like that name, Mikey Bones.
This time, Stipe gets the unanimous decision.
Yeah, there can only be one T-bone. There's only one T-bone.
I want to be T-bone. I want to be T-bone.
Great name, brother. Thanks for tuning in to the show. If you guys are just tuning in, you're listening to Evil and Intoxicated, the video cast. This is also a podcast as well, up on Apple iTunes, Podbean.com. Trying to make a website for it, so it's just one-click action, access to all of our episodes. We're on episode number 33, Ted. I'm loving it.
That's
we
right.
got a lot of crazy news. It's been a crazy news week outside of MMA and just as wild inside of it. So we're here to bring you that. There's that live chat room going on. Ted, what's going on in there?
Well, I wanted to say, Tommy Bones, he's the original T-Bone.
He's the original T-Bone. All right.
33. Hey, we're a third into, we're 2/3 away from 100 episodes, man.
There you go.
I don't know if you want to look at it that way, but yeah, let's see. It's not Brooklyn. Her name is Megan.
Hey.
Well, no. Is it Megan? She has Megan O'Leary's picture up there, but I guess her name is Megan too. Anyway, she's saying...
Yo, I don't believe it.
I don't know.
Of course, right?
I don't know who she is, but she's a great subscriber. She's always writing me stuff on my videos, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
She's saying Stipe round 2 knockout. And she's also talking about Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, who we're going to talk about later on in the show, calling him the French monster, which is appropriate, I would say. Looks dangerous to everyone. Yeah, I mean, that guy keeps winning. He's going to be challenging soon. I mean, he looks good. Plus, the heavyweight division not as deep as some of the other divisions. So
losing a couple of guys too.
Say again.
Losing a couple of guys too. You got Josh Barnett.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Arbovsky, if he doesn't win this. You got Derek Lewis in there, man, making a big name for himself. You got this upcoming fight with Travis Brown, which is rescheduled now for UFC Halifax, February.
Yeah, it's going to be the main event. That's right.
Mm-hmm. 5 rounds, too. Remember, Derek Lewis just fought a 5-round fight. Wasn't happy with his performance.
Well, he'll get a chance to for some redemption, I guess, in a way.
Ted, a lot of people wanted to get us our take on this really quick on Twitter this week. They were talking about it. They wanted to know what we thought about them rescheduling this fight. Of course, it was supposed to happen a lot sooner than UFC Halifax. But Travis Brown made the right moves, changing his camp, leaving Edmond Taverdian and moving to Black House. I'll take it. I'll accept it. You were in the most controversial camp. And we can't put too much blame on Edmond, but sometimes things just don't work out. He had to make the move. He has to refocus. This is a big fight. If he loses, he could very well get that pink slip. I agree with the rescheduling of it. How about you?
Well, I can put all the blame on Edmond. I can. I mean, look at the fighters that somebody has a list out there. There's a list out there. Here's the fighters that have joined his camp, and then what their records are, and it's horrible. It's just terrible. In the words of our president, it's horrible. It's terrible. It's a disaster. You know?
We just lost all of our viewers.
What's that?
We just lost all of our viewers.
Come on. No, really. I don't have any confidence in that guy as a coach. Sorry, but
yeah, a lot of people will agree, man.
Yeah. So Travis Brown moved to Black House. Do you know? I didn't read. Why did they move the main event? Why did they reschedule?
Pretty sure because of Travis. I'm pretty sure Travis wanted to get out of there.
He wanted more time to train.
Yeah, I got that list you were just talking about. I was looking it up for you, Ted.
Okay, man.
For all those who say it's Rousey and not the coach, let's look at the record of Taverdian's fighters in 2016. We got Rousey, who went 0-1 2016. Travis Brown, who went 1-2. Jake Ellenberger, who's no longer with Edmond, I'm pretty sure. He went 1-2, right? Ellenberger left.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm like 100% positive. I think I'm 100% positive.
Okay.
You got Jasmine Duke, no longer with Taverdian. She went 0-2 this year. Clay Guida went 0 for 1 this year. Remember, he lost his fight with like 10 seconds left.
Wait, did you say Jessamine Duke?
Yeah, Duke, the girl.
She's one of the 4 horsewomen. She's this buddy.
Yep.
See, I want my question is, if you leave Edmund, is that a deal breaker? Like, are you dead to Ronda at that point? You know, because Ronda's so loyal, and Edmund is her father figure. So if you leave, you're going against Edmund. Therefore you're going against Ronda. Does she write you off at that point?
Is he her father figure though? That's a tough.
Yeah, he is. Oh, absolutely. I feel he is.
Yeah. Definitely a huge influence on her.
Yeah, I mean he's a father figure. He may not be the, her father passed away when she was younger, but no, I'm just curious because she's so loyal. Is that the deal breaker right there? But I guess not, because she's still with Travis.
She's still with Travis, and that's a huge thing right there. Is she gonna leave? It could be. You could hear this huge news break in a couple of days. That would be big news, man. That would be big news, and that would ensure us that she's still gonna fight again. So we'll have to wait and see.
Right,
what happens.
And we'll get to that later, because with that's a kind of a separate topic.
Last one was Clay Guida, who lost to Brian Ortega, City.
Clay Guida? Did you say Clay?
Yeah, Clay Guida.
Wait.
Not Clay Guida. Yeah, he got caught, man. He got caught with 10 seconds left. That was a big fight, and then his brother got into a fight with the D.E.S. at the back.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Remember now, Ted? Huh?
I do. Yes, it's coming back to me now. It's all coming back to me. Yeah.
Evil Eddie remembers. What I do here in the evil layer down here.
That's the Donnie difference.
MMA all day. Yeah, this is the Donnie Darko.
No, Donnie from TED 2. I put fresh cakes.
Donnie. You know what, Ted? My mom said our show reminds her of Wayne's World. The MMA version of Wayne's World.
On time, excellent. Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah. That's what my mom said. So we got that going for us, man. We gotta get those hair dryers that suck your hair, cut your hair.
Yeah.
It's caught in your hair.
It's called the suck cut. It's sucking my will to live. All right, so
let's move forward. Yes,
sir. No. Go ahead. Yeah, I gotta write a little note here.
All right, so we're getting into it, guys. We got a fight coming up this weekend. Valentina Shevchenko going up against Juliana Pena. This is the fight for the #1 contender spot. Who's going to be next to fight Amanda Nunes? Is Amanda going to be fighting one of these girls next, or is she going to be fighting somebody from the 145-pound division? We don't know yet. Question. I got to speak with Jermaine Durandamy last weekend. Well, this past weekend, this last Saturday. You can check that out, Cateside Submissions, or look at Pure Evil MMA on Facebook and Twitter. I'll get you the link there. This is a huge fight for Valentina, a huge fight for Juliana, because you're #1 contender, you're all set, right? Well, Juliana originally wanted to fight with Ronda Rousey. That fight did not play through. She really wanted that fight, turned down Valentina for UFC 205. They were originally supposed to fight at UFC 205. She turned it down, wanted nothing to do with her, wouldn't even respect that she was even a person at one point. Said, who is Valentina Shevchenko?
She's a subhuman, right?
She's subhuman.
You're not even a person.
Somebody told me today, Ted. Somebody told me today, I'm not going to say who. Well, I ratted him out on my podcast, but somebody told me today that Valentina Shevchenko is not even a real fighter.
What?
That's what I said. You're going to have to check out the Pure Evil MMA podcast.
Was this somebody who called into you or somebody who tweeted this to you?
Gonna have to tune in to episode 35.
Oh, man. All right, fine.
I put my heart out in this episode, Ted.
Okay, so Muradai's got it. No, she's an artificial intelligence robot. Yeah, she's not a human, she's a machine.
Hold on, Shamrock FC keeps retweeting my tweet, so you might hear a little diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo.
Okay, man. All right, thank you.
I know, because I just did interviews with a bunch of the Shamrock FC guys, and they're retweeting the show right now. So all of our listeners, there it goes again.
Oh, nice. Well, tell them thank you.
Diddle-a-doo.
Are they all Irish? Is that where they get the Shamrock thing?
They're actually from down south. Shamrock FC, a regional promotion.
No, I've heard of it. I'm just wondering where they is it just for good luck, or that they're they're Irish, or they only allow Irish fighters in,
I
or
interviewed the president. I should have asked him where they got the name from.
it has nothing to do with Ken and Frank Shamrock, right?
Oh, nope. Nope.
No.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right.
So,
just curious.
all right. So Valentina Shevchenko versus Juliana Pena. We're gonna
Yeah.
be discussing this card really quick, running it down by you. Also on this card, Cowboy Cerrone against Jorge Masvidal. Ted, let's start there.
You want to start at that one?
Cowboys.
Yeah, man. I mean, this could be fight of the night. I mean, it's going to be a barn burner, I think. I mean, you got two guys that I mean, Cerrone's been on a tear as a welterweight. You know, just been tearing cats down left and right. Masvidal, he does have. Well, I looked at his record.
He's got like 40 fights, right?
He's got a lot of fights. He's got a lot of experience. That's the one thing I took away from that too. The other thing is, it's kind of like when the chips are down, he loses to the best guys. Like he's like always a bridesmaid, never a bride kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like he's lost to Ben Henderson, Lawrence Larkin, guys like that. The top tier guys, doesn't do so well. So he's better than a gatekeeper, but he's never been a challenger, and he might not be. I don't know. Now a win against Cerrone, that might change my mind, but I kind of am leaning towards Cerrone in this fight. I think Cerrone's definitely got him on the feet, and I think he's got him everywhere. Personally, I think he does.
Cowboy Cerrone saying that he's the better wrestler here. What do you think of that statement?
I mean, he's not. Cerrone's not really known for his wrestling. He's known for his striking, his Muay Thai, and he's known for his submissions. He's not really known for his wrestling per se. But I don't know that Masvidal is either. I mean, Masvidal doesn't wasn't a wrestler in high school or college, was he?
No,
I don't think so. No,
I think he does. He knows Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's known for that.
Okay, but that's okay.
Yeah,
and they've incorporated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has incorporated takedowns. There was at one point in time they didn't do takedowns. They had to when everybody trained down in Brazil before they made inroads to the United States. When they all trained down in Brazil, they would get guys, collegiate wrestlers and Olympic wrestlers, and bring them down to Brazil to teach the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts down there, like the Nogueira brothers and Vitor and all that. Yeah. Teach them how to do takedowns because they did not know how to do takedowns, and teach them how to defend against takedowns. So Cerrone might have something there, and maybe he sees that as the little bit of an edge, that okay, maybe we're about equal on the feet, maybe we're about equal on the ground, but I got him in the wrestling department.
Yeah. Well, listen, Cowboy's been putting together a bunch of wins, 4 wins in 2016. That last loss he had in 2015 against RD. Was it the beginning of 2016 or the end of 2015? It was around that time he lost to RDA for that title fight. Then he came back, put in 4 wins back to back to back. That perfect combination against Rick Story. That's a beautiful fight right there to watch. The head kick knockout of Matt Brown at UFC 206 recently.
Yeah, all in the welterweight division.
Yeah, he moved up a weight class. Now we're seeing the Cowboy Cerrone. You're not seeing the diminished Cowboy. You're seeing Cowboy at his full potential. He's at an older age. He's a veteran. He's smarter now, and you're seeing him at the weight class he should be fighting in.
I agree. I mean, guy's 6'1". I was always like, how the hell is he making 155 at 6'1"? I mean, he's it just seems like he's far more. It was the best move that he could have made at a time when he needed to make it, and we're seeing it right here. Absolutely. Okay, so we got the majestic Finn. Cowboy has looked like an absolute stud since moving to welterweight. Yes, and we know Ann. Cowboy's her boy. Cowboy's her boy.
Of course.
Let's see what else we have going on in the chat room here. Megan's saying Friday is coming.
Yes, it is. TGIF, baby.
Why, yes, it is. Yeah.
Thank you, Megan. Yes, it is. It's coming right now.
And Muradai agrees too. He has only looked better since the move up. So, seems to be the consensus here. But
also,
here's the other thing about Masvidal. He's only been knocked out once.
Yes.
In all of his fights, like 35, 40 fights, whatever. Only been knocked out once. So I don't know that I would expect a finish like the Matt Brown fight, like the Rick Story fight. You know, I mean, and this is Cowboy we're talking about. This guy can knock people out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I with that in mind, this could be a decision win for Cerrone.
I could agree. You got 3 rounds. That's not a lot of time.
Right. It's no. Yep.
Not a lot of time at all. Also, Ted, both these guys are veteran fighters. They both got over 40 fights to them.
Yep.
And on top of that, Jorge Masvidal is a tough-ass dude fighting in the streets, you know?
Yeah, I thought that was. I was going to say I thought that was his background. He was more of a
down in South Florida, brother.
Yeah. So I thought that he was more of a street fighter kind of guy for sure.
All right. Also on this card, so yeah, me and Ted both agree it's probably going to go to decision. I'm rooting for Cowboy here. Jorge Masvidal is a tough win though. You know. Here's the thing on this though, Ted. It doesn't do much for either guy. They're both neck and neck in the rankings. I mean, if Cowboy wins, yeah, he's on a 4-fight winning streak, but he's still going to be ranked 11th after this fight.
Well, I mean, it all depends on what happens up above him. You know, if anybody above Cowboy loses, they could drop below him, and he could move up. You know, I mean, this is a if Cowboy wins and he wins convincingly over Masvidal, that's a good win right there. I mean, that's a quality win over a tough opponent.
Yeah.
So Masvidal is no slouch.
You make a great point too. Anything can happen with those rankings. We can't really go by those.
Yeah, I mean, they're voted on by members of the media, and you know, then the UFC chooses to abide by them or not. You know, they kind of do whatever they want, and that's actually been one of the themes that we've seen since WME IMG took over is the whole money fight thing. You know, we have Conor to thank or to hate for that. You know, he was the one that started the whole money fight thing. Now everyone
wants red panty night.
Everybody wants a red panty night. You know, it's like Oprah. You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. You know, yeah. So everybody wants a money fight. We just today I read something about Michael Bisping. He's like, yeah, you know, I don't know if I want to fight Yoel Romero now. You know, I love you, Mike. I love you.
I love you, Michael.
I love you. So you know, he's like, you know what? I'm not sure I want to fight Yoel Romero. I'm going for the biggest fight of all. I'm going for the biggest money fight of all time. Maybe it's the rematch with Anderson Silva. Maybe it's GSP. You know, and I'm like, so I had to tweet out. I'm like, oh, let me guess. You want to fight Nick Diaz like everybody else? You know what I mean? So everybody wants the money fight.
Man, I don't know what's going on with Nick. He's been smoking a lot. Did
you see that UFC glove? That golden UFC glove? I
saw it the minute they posted it. Yep.
That's right. That's how I found out about it from you, man.
Probably. I'm on top of that kind of stuff.
$2,000 for that thing.
Yeah. It was a legit glove.
Oh, I thought it was just wrapped in leaves. Like that was
It's a blunt. Yeah. It's a blunt, but I'm saying it's like an actual size glove that they smoked. Like the thing was actually the same size as like a hand.
It's the same size as a glove, but it's not leather.
No, they didn't smoke freaking leather, Ted.
What I do?
I don't even think you can smoke leather.
What are you talking about? Every weekend I do. No, I'm kidding. No, but I mean that was better than Carla Esparza.
Ted, let's ask Leatherface.
Leatherface? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface. Yeah.
What were we talking about before? Leather skinned? What were we talking about before?
No, yeah, Leatherface. You know, you smoke too much and you get Shoeface.
Shoeface. That's what we were saying. Shoeface.
Shoeface.
Leatherface.
No, but I was just gonna say that that golden blunt was $2,000. So that's twice as much as the $1,000 sundae that Carla Esparza and Felice Herrig ate after Carla won The Ultimate Fighter.
That's
everybody was getting on her about that. Like, oh, you dummy! Why? That's $1,000 for that thing? You know, that's what a waste of money. And then
you only live once, man. You only win The Ultimate Fighter once. Come on.
People brought it up again last year when Carla was saying something about that she was kind of
your life.
She was kind of on hard times or whatever, and people were like, you shouldn't have had that $1,000.
Oh God.
You shouldn't have had that Sunday.
Oh, they remember.
You would have had that $1,000 if you didn't eat that sundae.
Leave it
people
to
would be-
leave it to the fanboys, right? So Andrei Arlovsky, Ted, going against Francis Ngannou, the beast from France.
Wait, hold on hold that thought.
All right.
Anne has a good question, question. Why is Masvidal so mad at Cowboy? Said he stole fights from him. Where does that come from? I have no idea. It sounds like he's delusional.
I know that Masvidal was just on a couple of shows. Same with Valentina. So he might have said it on an interview. I didn't necessarily hear that. But this is games that people try to play on Cowboy that just don't work. Remember, Matt Brown was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring the hoe out in him. I'm gonna hit him so hard, I'm gonna bring the hoe out in him."
Hoe.
He was like, "Oh, wait till you see him when he walks out. You're gonna see the bitch that Cowboy is."
Yeah.
We didn't see that.
No.
We didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it is mind games. Maybe it's psychological warfare. It kind of reminds me of Nate Diaz. Conor McGregor, you're taking everything that I've fought for. You're taking everything from me, motherfucker. Remember that whole thing, that rant that actually got him.
Don't hand Diaz the mic.
It's like, hey, Jorge, you don't have to go on that kind of a rant. You already have the fight with Cowboy. Nate went on that rant and got the fight with Conor. You already have the fight. So you don't need to crow about Cowboy stealing fights from you.
Before that night, that Nate Diaz fight that happened against Michael Johnson, he was pissed because he wasn't on the promotional poster. He was doing an interview with Ariel, and he drew himself as a stick figure on the promo poster, and was like, "That's the money fight. That's the money fight. It should be me on this
Masvidal.
American Ninja shit."
Who did? Masvidal drew.
No, Nate.
Oh, Nate did.
Yeah, Nate.
Okay.
And then he called out Conor the following night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Muradai saying, well, a couple of years ago, both Cowboy and Masvidal often jumped in on short notice. Yeah, that's Cowboy's known for that.
He's known every 3 weeks.
He still does it, So yeah, I don't get that. I mean,
Ted,
but maybe, yeah.
I know a guy.
I love it. Yeah, that's just what Cowboy does. So Masvidal. Oh, here's Ann. Masvidal saying the same thing. Called him his bitch and hoe. Get out of here. I mean, not saying that to you, Ann. It's not going to work on Cowboy.
It's not. I'm sorry. Cowboy's just happy right now. It's not the talk that scares Cowboy. It's like real life shit that bothers him.
And finding enough money, so that he can buy a case of Bud, because apparently he burns through it.
Only thing that bothers him is his grandmother's sick. That's the only thing that really gets to him.
I hear he burns through a lot of money, so that's why he has to fight so often.
All right,
but anyway, go ahead, Arlovsky and Ngannou.
Yeah, let me on hold that thought now. All right, so Francis Ngannou, the French beast, going against Andrei Arlovsky. Now, Arlovsky's in a tough spot. We were just talking about this before. He's on like a 3-fight losing streak right now.
Yeah, that's kind of
Ted, this is a game of streaks. We all know that MMA is a game of streaks. He wins this one against Francis, he's right back in the talk. Francis is the guy that people are calling right now 2017's future champion in that division. Let's look at his last fight. Brian Stann was blown away. He had that, grabbed him by the arm, brought him to the ground. He beat Curtis Blades. He beat a couple of guys, but no real big names. If Francis beats Arlovsky, it's going to do 10 times more for him here if he gets the win come Saturday night.
Well, it's a big name in Arlovsky, but I mean, Arlovsky, you could also argue, well, he's not the same fighter that he used to be. And he was champ a long time ago, and now he's got that criticism, that he's got a glass jaw, and so.
Well, that's what Ngannou's coach keeps saying.
Thank you.
On the button.
I needed the illustration that you do there with
the button.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, it'll hold a little bit of weight, but I don't know if it's going to hold as much weight as, say, a win over J.D.S. or Ben Rothwell or somebody else. So because of the losing streak that Arlovsky finds himself on at this point. But yeah, Ngannou has looked great. I mean, he only has one loss. Was he like 10-1, 9-1? He's looked great.
I think he's 9-1. I don't have the papers or anything, but
Yeah.
I looked earlier this afternoon. I think you're right. He only has one loss. I know that.
Right. And the last win was like you were saying, a Kimura. He won by Kimura. So
brought the dude right to the ground. Had it up on the cage, dragged him to the ground. What?
Right. So he's showing diversity there. You know that he's not just a stand-up fighter. You know that he's got some ground game as well.
Yeah.
So that's well, that's going to come in handy as he tries to work his way up the ladder. You know. Yeah, Arlovsky. Geez, man. I mean, hate to pick against the guy, but and he could. You know, he's got a puncher's chance. You know, I mean, it's the heavyweight division, as they say. So whoever can get the clean shot off first is probably going to win.
Listen, we're going to see how Francis deals with this fight, Ted. This is one of the biggest fights of his career. This is a guy who didn't even know what MMA was when he started training. He originally set up to do boxing. He had no idea what MMA was. His coach was like, "We're over in France. We're over here in Europe. Your best route is probably MMA." He was like, "What is MMA?" So this is a huge fight for him. We're gonna see how he acts.
Yeah.
You know, towards fight week, how he takes this. Arlovsky's a big name, like you said, former champion, but not the fighter he used to be. Or is he? This is a game of streaks. We don't know. He could just be having a little funk. It happens in baseball, it happens in football, but when it happens in MMA, it's a scary thing. You can't lose 3 fights in a row by knockout.
Hey, you mentioned baseball. You know how they break that? Because they call it a slump. When you're in a slump, you got to bust the slump. You gotta. Oh man, I don't know if I want to get into this. I'll just tell people to look it up. It's just put in Google baseball and slump busting or bust the slump or something like that.
Bust the slump.
And it has to do with getting real drunk and finding a particular type of woman.
Oh, doing the Whitey Ford, doing the Mickey Mantle.
What would that be? I don't know the. I never heard.
Going out being a womanizer.
All right. Well, this has to do. Who was the guy? Oh God. I forget. He played for the Cubs, and he kind of came up with this in an interview. He said, I mean, I'm sure it existed before he came along, but he's like, because he played, I think, in the 80s and 90s. But it's like, yeah, you know, you get drunk, and you find the biggest, ugliest woman you can, and you lay the wood to her, and that gets you out of your slump.
All right.
I'm just telling you what he said.
For all the 12-year-old kids on their AAA baseball team listening to this, flirting with the girls on the school bus, that's some good advice, Ted.
Don't do that unless you become a pro. Then you can do that.
No, I looked at, like, you can see like the age range of people that watch your show. We got quite the range going. So,
well, I guess
fatherly advice from Ted, guys.
I guess I just gave him a little bit of an education. Whoops. Hope their parents don't get mad. Hey, Minion's on board now.
Hey, Minion. Ted, speaking about slumps, man. Speaking about slumps, speaking about baseball, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, 1961. You know who had a slump that year? Roger Maris. One of the biggest slumps of his career. End of that season, he became the home run champion. Who knows?
Hey, man. I mean,
who knows?
we've seen a lot of MMA fighters, who later in their careers have a resurgence. You know, in their like mid to late 30s. We've seen it happen. The second win, we've seen it happen. Here's the other thing. Hey, you probably know this because you're a big New York Yankees fan, right? Reggie Jackson was he got what 500 home runs, right?
Yep.
But he struck out. How many times did he strike out at bat? Like 2-3 times that amount. You know, but he was Mr. October. When the chips were down, when it came time, when it was
time to
it was
crunch.
placed under pressure.
When it came to those playoffs, not World Series games.
Yep.
Hitting home runs, World Series, no problem.
Muradai saying MMA is totally forbidden in France. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Wow.
Since when? It has been illegal for over 10 years.
Oh, to hold an event, maybe. Yeah. Right?
You could probably train over there, yeah, because oh God, there was a guy that I interviewed one time from France some years ago, and Yeah, you could train it. Yeah, you can train, but I don't think they can. You can't hold an event there. I think is what's going on.
I think Minion actually told me that before, a matter of fact.
Yeah, okay, he weighed in on it. He said exactly, Muradai, and it still is.
That's good.
Nothing to support here, nothing to celebrate here in France, but at least Ngannou gives the fans here something to cheer about. All right. So anyway, okay, so yeah, so I'm picking Ngannou for this fight.
Yeah,
I think he's going to knock out Andrei Arlovsky, sadly.
He's calling it in the first round, too. Says he's going to knock Arlovsky out in that very first round. I can see it happening, man. I see it happening. Arlovsky is going to get caught in that fire exchange. Like you said, though, it's anyone's game when you're swinging like that. We saw it with the Vanderlei and Brian Stann fight. Anything can happen, you know?
Wow. Oh, wow. What a fight, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
What a brawl.
Well, we saw it in Arlovsky versus Travis Brown. We saw it in an Arlovsky fight before.
Mm-hmm.
Arlovsky versus Travis Brown. Also on this card, Bruce Leroy going up against Jason Knight.
Yes, Alex Caceres. That's right.
And he's coming off that loss to Yair Rodriguez. Close fight. That was a very close fight. I think both those guys were not taking the fight too seriously. They were just trying to really put on a show. Not really trying to finish one another. They were just doing spin shit.
Spinning shit and flying shit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, two guys that are definitely well versed in that. But yeah, this guy Jason Knight, I don't know a lot about him. I looked him up quickly. I mean, he doesn't even have his own Wikipedia page, so that's a problem.
Coming off a win to Dan Hooker.
Well, that's true. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He's got, I guess, 2 decisions and a submission.
Yeah.
He's 15-2 overall. So he doesn't seem like he's cut from the same cloth as Alex Caceres. He seems like he's more of a ground fighter. I'm wrong. So he's 2-1 in the UFC. Most of the ways that he wins are decisions and submissions. That's the way he wins most of his fights. To me, he seems to take to the ground more than Caceres, who's more of a stand-up fighter. So that's the way I look at it here.
Well, this is a tough fight to call here. I'm going for Bruce Leroy, though. He's unpredictable. He's got great stand-up. I'm going for Bruce Leroy.
Okay. Yeah, it's difficult for me because I just don't know a lot about this guy, Jason Knight. Like UFC's got what, 500 fighters on its roster or whatever.
They're trying to cut back.
Tough to keep everybody on your radar, you know.
Yeah, they're trying to cut back right now.
Right.
All right, so if you guys want to get the full breakdown of this card, I'm going to be releasing it this weekend, or right before the fight's actually, Friday night, on YouTube, on iTunes, on Podbean. But first, I'll be releasing it on iTunes, then Podbean, and then YouTube. So I had it completely backwards for you.
In that order.
That order. Just like that.
Just like that, yeah. Hey, we didn't really talk about the main event. Were you kind of saving that for the last part of this card?
Yeah, let's talk about that right now. Completely forgot. I thought we started with it. I remember we were gonna end with that.
Mentioned it, Bray. I really stumped you with that one, Eddie. Wow. No, I mean we talked about it briefly, but we didn't like get into it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't like dive in.
All right, so I'll start it off.
Please.
Juliana Pena, Valentina Shevchenko. They were originally supposed to fight at UFC 205. I actually got to interview Valentina a couple of weeks ago at the casino where sister defended her title for Lion Fight at Foxwoods Casino. I interviewed her right there, and she was talking about UFC 205. She was ready for that fight. She wanted to fight Juliana Pena. Juliana wanted nothing to do with Valentina. She thought she deserved either a title shot or a fight with Ronda Rousey. And at that time, she was ranked like 6th or 7th at that time.
Yeah, I really wasn't feeling it. You know, I was like, yeah, I think you're a little too soon for that.
Looking back, though, I wish Ronda did fight her.
Oh, to shut her up?
Well, I just think it would have been a better option than throwing her back in there against Amanda Nunes.
Ah, I get you. Yeah. No, a lot of people had that thought that you know maybe a tune-up fight, but I believe it's my understanding that was Ronda's idea. She wanted She wanted to get
course.
that title back.
And I was one of the front runners saying no. She deserves a title shot. So hey.
I think that's Ronda's psyche, is that she doesn't feel that she is that she can exist without the title. You know, that she's not complete unless she has the title.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like Ric Flair. Remember Ric Flair, the wrestler? He always had the title. He always had the world title, and he was actually the leader of the Four Horsemen, which Ronda modeled herself after with the Four Horsewomen.
That's
if you want to keep with that analogy.
There you go.
So Ronda doesn't feel complete without the title, and she pushed for that immediate title shot. Although at the time, I think she thought she was going to be fighting Holly. Yeah. She didn't foresee that Holly would lose to Misha, and then Misha would then lose to Amanda.
Well, the second Misha won, that's when Ronda released the video of her biting into the apple, saying, "I'm ready." Remember that video service? Ronda bit into the apple.
I don't remember the apple. Was that hot or was that not?
Right after UFC 200, Ronda resurfaced. There was a picture of her like at the bottom of her staircase in her house. Takes a bite out of the apple and says, "I'm ready to come back." And then, of course, Misha lost to Amanda Nunes, UFC 200.
Oh, okay. So that was it. Wasn't
I screwed those up. Holly lost at UFC 198.
I can't remember, but I mean Holly lost to Misha, and then Misha
lost to Amanda at UFC 200.
Yep. But anyway,
UFC 197, Ted. It was the same fight. Conor McGregor was supposed to fight RDA. Ends up fighting Nate. 197, right?
I can't remember.
I think so.
Maybe 198. I don't know.
I think so.
But anyway, how is Valentina? Is she a nice person? How is she to interact?
Very shy. Like, it's her and her sister.
Yeah.
You could think of it two ways. I mean, very shy girls. They're very close. They don't speak very well English, so they kind of have like their inside jokes. You know what I mean? They kind of pick up that kind of vibe. Very nice, very flirty. Our interview was awesome. I'm kind of easy to talk to as well. You know what I mean?
You are easy to talk to, Eddie. I agree.
And I've also met them 3 separate times, so they're great people. But when it comes to fight night, man, that switch goes off. That fighter switch goes off.
Yeah.
But like I can only picture it. They've been doing this since they're like 5 years old. I can picture like them being little kids showing up at like birthday parties, like, oh, the Shevchenkos are here, and them just like beating kids up in the bounce house and stuff. They're like jumping up, just doing Muay Thai kicks, knocking kids down and stuff. Like, oh shit, the Shevchenko sisters are here.
That's fantastic.
Who knows?
Yeah, man.
Who knows?
I was watching some tape on. It's not really tape. You can't call it tape. It's on YouTube. But I was watching some footage of Valentina, and just every time I see her, I'm impressed. And the thing that I was looking for was what I was focusing on was not so much her stand up, but how she does in the clinch.
She was amazing.
How she does Muay Thai does work a lot of clinch. It has a lot of clinch work, but also on the ground. And she especially in the Nunes fight, she took Amanda down.
Yep.
A few times.
She busted Amanda up in that fight, man. That third round, all Valentina.
Swept her, and so she's got underrated ground skills. Let's put it that way. Underrated ground skills. Juliana Pena would be wise not to underestimate her in that regard. Sure, Valentina, and I don't know. I mean, maybe Valentina could pull a swerve, and try to take Juliana Pena down, because that would be probably the last thing that Juliana would be expecting.
Hey, Ted, guess who Valentina's training with right now?
Who's that?
Rose. Doug Rose.
Rose Namajama Jonas?
I think that's a good match for her to get ready for this fight.
Well, Rose is very good on the ground. Yeah, I mean, she's a good submission artist. I don't know about takedowns. I mean, if I were her, I would maybe train with Sarah McMahon is who's the wrestler? Sarah McMahon.
Sarah
right?
McMahon, Olympic wrestler, silver medal.
Yeah. Even Misha Takedown Tate, that used to be her nickname before Cupcake.
Silver or bronze medal McMahon got.
Yeah, so I would go with that. But I mean, nothing to take away from Rose at all. That's pretty cool. I'm sure they can learn a lot from each other.
Also in this fight, Ted, we all know that Juliana likes coming out very strong, very fast, just like Amanda does. Valentina has a real tough time in that first round. We rewind, look at the Holly Holm fight. She had a tough time in that first round against Holly Holm. She even got knocked down by Holly Holm in the first round. Then she came back, she started getting flowy. Nice and flowy out
there, Connor.
Nice and flowy out them. But, you know, she puts it together beautifully. I was interviewing somebody, and they were saying that they just flow. They just have this flow. Both sisters. They've been doing this for so long. They're just so calm. You can see how calm they stay in there. And then they put it together like it really is art. Like they really make it look like a mixed martial art.
Yeah, contrary to what Meryl Streep might think.
By the way, Bellator, Scott Coker left an open chair for Meryl Streep. They even shot to it during the airing.
I missed that, but I was wondering. About that, you know, because he did invite her to Bellator 170.
Yep. And
she should have gone, but she wasn't there. I'm sure she was off, you know, at a wine tasting or some such.
Yeah.
You know? But eating some Gruyere or whatever you want to call it, some French cheese or whatever. But no offense to the French. But anyway, yeah, no, I mean, that was a great move on Scott Coker's part to reach out to her. You know, is that the open chair?
Yeah.
Oh, they put her name on it. Oh, that's fantastic. You know, she should have a Twitter just so we can just spam her with stuff like that. You know what I mean? I totally would. I'd be sending her stuff.
Come on, Meryl Streep's cool. She will go. She'll go.
She's gonna bend the knee, you think?
You gotta get Scott to run into her at a restaurant, a couple glasses deep, sit down. Scott's a cool guy. Like I met Scott at the casino. He was just chilling outside drinking coffee, just like a normal guy. You wouldn't think he's the freaking president of Bellator, you know?
Right. No, he seems like a great guy. Yeah. But yeah, so this fight here is a 5-rounder, right? So you're talking about Shevchenko being a kind of a slow starter. If it goes the distance, she's got the time. I mean, Pena probably would want to end it sooner rather than later, because then there's less time for.
He finished that Ultimate Fighter fight in that first round. Remember? Who's
that? Juliana.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, she's all. I mean, this is truly styles make fights. I mean, you've got a stand-up fighter, and then you've got a ground fighter, a wrestler who also has submissions, because that's. Juliana finished her last fight with a rear naked choke, I think.
Zingano, right? Yeah. At UFC 200.
Although Kat was taking her down. Kat took her down a number of times.
That was also Kat's returning fight. So once again, you don't know what to expect here.
Right. Ring rust. But I think I'm going to go with Valentina on this one. I think she's gonna light Pena up on the feet, stuff her takedowns. You know, maybe in the later rounds, take her down. Like I said, surprise the hell out of her and actually take Pena down.
Valentina Shevchenko surprised a lot of people when she beat Holly Holm, man. A lot of people were underestimating her. Like, oh, all right, Holly lost in the 5th round at UFC 197 against Miesha Tate. She lost the belt. Well, she's going to come back. She's amazing. She beat Ronda Rousey by that knockout. People had a lot of faith in her. And Valentina just came out of nowhere. Not an easy fight, man. Not an easy fight at all. I was talking about this on my podcast, episode 35 of Pure MMA on Apple iTunes and Podbean.com, and I told everybody, and you might be surprised, guys, feeling Juliana here.
Oh, you are, huh?
Feeling Juliana here. I don't know. There's just something inside me that says an early finish by Juliana. I don't want, like, once again, Ted, my heart wants Valentina. If it goes later in the fight, Valentina all day long. If it goes past the 2nd round, Valentina all day long. Juliana, what scares me about her is how hungry and determined she is right now, how bad she wants the belt right now. There's been nothing to show me that there's many holes in her game. Valentina, a lot of people were saying there were holes in her game when she was fighting Holly Holm. I didn't really see any. It's going to be a tough fight. There's a reason why both these girls are number 1 and 2 of that division.
Yeah. But Holly's a different animal from
Completely.
Juliana.
Completely. That was a stand-up fight without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Eddie, are you just you're careful to pick Juliana because you don't want to get kicked in the nuts? Is that what's going on here? Like if someday if you happen to come across Juliana and she goes, oh yeah, I saw you on Evil and Intoxicated and you picked against me, so bang!
Jeez, bro, we got Megan Levy watching us right now. Who knows?
I'm gonna kick you in the nuts.
No, seriously, man. First round. There's nothing in my mind that says Valentina's going to win the first round. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Let's check our folks here, our people, our peeps.
I'm just saying. Trust me. I'm a huge fan of Valentina. I'm rooting for her if it goes past second round. I can't argue against how I feel.
No, Eddie, you can't.
I do my studies. I look back on these girls' fights. I try to talk with the girls. This is just how I feel about it. I think Valentina's going to lose that first round. What's the chat room saying, though?
Let me tell you, Eddie. Let me tell you what the chat room is saying. Minion is saying, I think Pena has got stamina for days as well. Oh, up above that, he was saying that he thinks that they're both the stamina is going to carry these women. That they can go the full 5, not a problem. I think Pena has got stamina for days as well, though. She can easily hug it out for 5 rounds. And then, of course, Pat with the obligatory Shevchenko by KO, round 1. And, Muradai says he agrees with you, Eddie. So you got that going for you, which is nice. But anyway, let's see. What else do we have here? So, yeah, that's... So my pick is Shevchenko over Pena. Yeah, like I said, I think she's gonna light her up on the feet, and then and stuff the takedowns. Maybe even in the 4th, maybe 5th round. If Pena's if her stamina's not there, if her stamina is waning, I think Shevchenko might even surprise her and take her down. She's got the Muay Thai background, so we know she's got great takedowns from the clinch, and that's gonna definitely come in handy. Eddie, the other thing about this card is kind of historic in a sense because it's being held in Denver, Colorado, where UFC 1 took place in 1993. And if you see the I don't know if I can't see what all your graphics here, but if you have the fight poster, it's kind of in the style of the old UFC fight posters, and I think they have the phrase "where it all began."
Really? Well, Ted, I wasn't able to put those images into the show that you sent me, but
Eddie, why not, man? Come on, I was depending on you.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm kidding. You're good. You do a lot. You do a lot for this show. You are the wizard here. You are the technical wizard. I am the idiot. So I appreciate that. I'm just giving you a hard time, man.
Let me tell you, man. I was in front of my computer. I left my house at 6 a.m., got back here at 8, was on the computer at 9 until 6. What time did I text you? Like 4 o'clock?
Something like that.
And then I didn't even get the podcast up until like 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, then I had to work on the scenes. Because remember, I was supposed to start working on the scenes at like 1 o'clock. So I was like 6 hours behind schedule, but I was still busting my ass editing. But my bad about the images, though, Ted.
No. You bust your ass, man. No, it's true. I was just giving you a hard time. No, I mean, we're good. We're good.
I'm gonna go cry to my mom, man. All right, moving forward though, where are we at right now?
That was we were good. I think with UFC on Fox 23. I think we should move forward to Bellator 171, which is 2 weeks in a row we got Bellator. This card not as big, not nearly as big as Bellator 170. It's on Friday night, and the main event is Melvin Gillard versus J.D.S. If I have that last name right. I hope I'm not murdering it too bad. Chidi, he also goes by Chidi Bang Bang, like Chitty Bang Bang.
Chitty Bang Bang.
Not to be confused with the adult film Titty Bang Bang.
Never heard of it.
Well, you should check it out.
Yeah. All right.
Not that I ever have. I've just heard about it. Anyway, so that's the main event. What do you make of that?
Well, what do you make of the main event?
Well, I'll tell you. You look at Gallard. Gallard is known as the young assassin. However, at 33 years old, he's kind of the over-the-hill assassin at this point.
He was supposed to come on my show, Pure Evil MMA. He also is about to be in a $1 million tournament coming up as well.
Oh, that's Road FC.
Yep.
Yeah, where's that out of? South Korea?
Yeah, South Korea, man. I'm trying to get him on the show I actually texted him last night, tried to get back in contact with him. Something happened. I'm not supposed to say exactly what happened. But something happened where the night of our interview, he wasn't able to do it. So, got rescheduled. It got all screwed up. Trying to get him back on. But now here he is, fighting for Bellator. So, that's why I'm giving the floor to you first.
See, that's the thing. We talked before about, I thought that, how they pulled Chael from the submission fight that he was going to do. But yet, I thought they had these open contracts, where you can fight for, because you can't fight as often for Bellator as you can, say, for like the UFC. So they allow you leeway to fight for other organizations, like we're seeing with Melvin Gallard. But yet, I don't know why they did that with Chael, but that's whatever. Gallard here, 3 losses and a no contest to David Rickles. Looking over his last few fights, the no contest was for a non-PED banned substance. Melvin Gallard has had a lot of problems over the years with substance abuse. He, I believe, was addicted to crack, and well, then I don't know what this was, but it was not a performance enhancing drug. So what are we left to conclude? But it was some type of prescription drug or some other type of street drug, some type of recreational drug, if you will. I missed Muradai's joke. He said, "Ted, did you really Pena on him? I thought you were going Shevchenko." Oh no, I was going Shevchenko.
Yeah.
And was that his joke, or was it up above that? See, because I can't. Can I go back over these chats? I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay. So anyway, and then you've got Chidi Ajokuani.
Tough fight.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Gallard's got a crap ton of experience. 32 wins, 16 losses, 2 draw. Chidi has 16 wins, 4 losses, no draws. I mean, they're both strikers. I think Ajokuani is more of like a kickboxer type striker. Gallard is just more of like with his fists. He's more of a boxer type striker. But Gallard has not been doing hot as of late. So, but it's going to be a banger, I think. I mean, it's going to be, let me bang, bro. Just let me bang. I do let you bang.
Not a lot of talk on it, though, Ted. Not many people are talking about it yet.
No,
the week goes
it's kind
on,
of a sleeper.
It's
kind of a sleeper event.
Yeah, exactly. As the week goes on, I mean, it's Bellator. You never know. It's not like the UFC. Like, no one's really talking about the Holly Holm fight yet. But yet, it's what, 2-3 weeks out. No one's talking about even this weekend's fights, really. So Bellator's even further swept under the rug than any of those two. And I've barely heard anything about this.
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. They must. I just don't see. I wonder why Gallard and Njokuani are the main event. That's the main event. That's kind of not really a main event, if you ask me. To be honest, But I mean, Bellator has what Scott Coker calls their tent pole events, their big events, and then they have lower level events, and they're ratings driven. They're not so much. Obviously not. They don't deal in pay-per-view at all, and they don't really seem to focus on the gate. How many people they get in. They deal with TV ratings. That's what they're concerned with. So
they scored big this weekend, man.
Oh yeah, they did. Absolutely. Yeah, they were like 1.5 million for Tito and Chael, something along those lines.
And then I was like, we go on Reddit all the time, and I saw people going, "Oh, why doesn't Bellator do pay-per-view events?" No, do not go that route again, please. Please don't go that route again.
Yeah, no, it's just a different. It's a totally different platform that they're on there.
Yeah.
Oh, so Muradai was saying, depending on him, I think you were saying, I'm depending on you, and that's why he said Depena. You're depending on. Yeah, so that was. You said about. Oh, I said about the fight poster. I said I'm depending on you. That's right. And he goes, "Oh, you mean?" He says, "Depena." I thought you were going with Shevchenko.
Put it together, but cha-ching.
Dude, I'm half Polish. It takes me 5 minutes to get a joke.
That is the best part about doing the show live and having the chat room along with the podcast. I love it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love it.
Hey, if you guys are listening to this and it's the audio, you're listening to this on iTunes or Podbean right now, don't forget we do the show live every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Come join the fun with the rest of the Pure Evil Army and the rest of the TED Czech Republic.
Aha, there we go.
A little bit of that.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like it a lot.
I like that. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. Yeah, no, that's
barbecue shrimp. There's toothpaste shrimp. There's Kentucky Fried Shrimp. There's Cajun shrimp. There's bubble shrimp. There's soda shrimp. All the shrimp you could think about. My grandma makes it.
That's great. I love shrimp. Now my stomach's rumbling. So yeah, the other fight that to me that's significant is David Rickles, the guy who Melvin Gillard had a no contest with some time ago. David Rickles versus a guy named Aaron Darrow. Rickles 17-4. Darrow is 14-8. He had 5 losses. Then 2 wins. He only has 1 fight in Bellator, a unanimous decision win over Nate Jolly. At Bellator 130, which was in 2014. So the guy hasn't fought in like close to 3 years. So there you have it. David Rickles, the caveman.
David Rickles coming off a loss too, I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right.
It was a couple months ago. I think he lost in the first round too. It was pretty quick. I'm pretty sure.
He's kind of a mainstay, with the he's a familiar face for Bellator. He's been around in Bellator a long time. The caveman, usually wears that like Fred Flintstone kind of outfit with
which doesn't fly in the UFC. You're not walking out like that in the UFC. So there goes that.
No, there's a little thing called the Bellator or the Reebok deal. Yeah. But
custom Reebok, custom Reebok kit for him if he ever makes it.
Yeah, I like that the individuality of Bellator. Just whatever you want, whatever you want to do. You want to be King Mo and come out with the umbrella and the chicks, or then the crown, or whatever.
Yeah. So D Rose 14-8. He's had 22 total fights. 29 years old. 6'1". David Rickles 17-4. 21 total fights. He's 28 years old. Is 6 feet tall. I mean, pretty even. Virtually identical, like you and Goldie would say.
Virtually identical.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the Bellator site right now looking at it. I'm going to go with Rickles. I mean, 96% of fans are picking Rickles for this. Probably because that's who they know. I mean, the other dude doesn't have a photo.
He's kind of he's virtually unknown.
When the dude who doesn't have a photo, if he wins, that's huge.
Yeah, that is. It's a
4% voting for that guy. So
does he then get a photo? Is that how he earns his photo? He's got to get a win.
Look at freaking Amanda Nunes. He couldn't even get a freaking promo. She's the UFC champ.
Oh, I know. Yeah, when they were saying she's back, they weren't referring to Nunes. They were referring to Rousey.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But anyway, speaking of Rousey. Speaking of Ronda Rousey.
Let's move forward, Ted. It's we're at the hour 55-minute mark. We usually like to wrap the show up within 2 hours. But guys, we got 2 more things to discuss really quick for you.
2 more segments. Yeah, so Ronda Rousey was spotted again. Remember a few weeks ago, somebody photographed her outside of her house. Yeah, the paparazzi were hiding in the bushes. And photographed her. I don't know. She was feeding her dog or something. She was outside of her house. But now they caught her at a gun shop in Las Vegas. It's called the Range 702. My son had to tell me 702. That's Las Vegas. That's the area code in Las Vegas. 702.
Camera's on you, Ted. By the way, what do you mean? How the hell did he know that?
My son, because
rap songs.
I'll tell you why. Because
702, we coming for you.
No, not that. Well, maybe. Well, because he's a sneakerhead. Yo. Because he's a sneakerhead, okay? And there's apparently a very famous sneaker shop in Las Vegas. So that's how my son knows that it's a 702. All right, so Ronda was photographed with Travis Browne. So I guess we can conclude that Travis leaving Edmond was not a deal breaker. So Ronda was photographed with Travis at this place called the Range 702, and they were there because Ronda, and maybe Travis as well, is looking to get a concealed carry permit. So she wants to be able to carry a handgun on her person, concealed, so under her clothing or what against her hip, however, in her pocket, in her purse.
However you want it.
However you want it, in your purse, between the cheeks, however.
Sauna, jacuzzi, in the back rows at the movies. However you want it.
Dude, you're pulling out all this rap. I'm a metal dude. I don't know any rap.
Man, I played in a metal band my whole life.
I know.
It's just my generation. It's just hand in hand.
I can't. I can't do it.
A little Luda.
Yeah, how did that guy come up with that name? Wait, my name's Chris, and this is word I heard of, Ludacris. I'll be Ludacris. Yes, you put the two words Ludacris. I'm Chris and Ludacris. Amazing. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't handle it. So anyway, Ronda was at the Range 702 with Travis. They were trying out guns. She shot a Glock, and so I don't know what is the reason for this. Why is she pursuing this? Why does she want a concealed carry permit? Is there just too many loons out there? Does she have a stalker that she hasn't let us know about yet? She lives in California. She trains in California. Why is she getting it in Las Vegas? I mean, I don't think you can transfer it from one state to another.
We were talking about this when we first talked about this.
Yeah.
We were talking about this when we first talked about this. Is Black House in Vegas?
I did a search. I don't think they are. I think they're in. I think they maybe have a couple places. I think they have a San Diego camp, and I think they might have a Los Angeles camp. I don't think that they are in Vegas. Maybe they're going to start one up, and maybe, just maybe, Ronda's going to leave Edmond.
Maybe they'll start their own camp, Ted. They got the money for it, and apparently Ronda's been funding some of the protesting going on. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, I have. I looked into that a little bit. Yeah, it's this DAPL, the Dakota Access Pipeline. The Native Americans are upset because, I mean, the whole thing is very convoluted and very complex. But I guess, in a nutshell, there's a pipeline that's from north. It's for oil, for barrels of oil, and it's going to go from North Dakota to elsewhere in the country. And I believe it was just today, President Trump signed a presidential, I don't know what you call it, presidential something or other. He signed this document saying, and I was reading about this. Okay, so he's not saying that, go full bore and do it. He's just giving the, I guess it's the Army Corps of Engineers. He's saying, let's explore doing it, but we're not going to do it, I guess. So it's not like a done deal. But the other thing that I read was that it's being moved off of the sovereign lands that the Native Americans are upset about. So I wasn't sure if they were going to continue to protest or not. But to me, it seems like Ronda's a little late to the party. You know what I mean? Like, these protests have been going on for a long time, and suddenly, ta-da, she shows up. Oh, here, have some fresh food, and here, have some firewood. oh, I'm here for you, and oh, the next time I'll be back and I'll stand on the front lines with you and I'll take some pepper spray in the face too. It's like, it seems really kind of symbolic and disingenuous, if you ask me. But then again, I'm not Ronda's biggest fan. So
yeah, we know you're not, Ted.
I know.
And we know that I am.
I can't hide it. I'm not. You know what I mean? I just can't. She comes there bearing gifts, and oh, I'm
She comes
doing
there bearing
something good.
gifts.
I want to be a protester, but let's not forget that she has a feud going on with the president, and the president just signed that document today. So is this just part of her vendetta against him?
Of course.
I don't know.
Without a doubt.
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't want to get too into the politic talk, but I don't know, man. I don't know. The whole thing with Ronda getting the permit, maybe she's moving to Las Vegas. Maybe she's planning on leaving Edmond, moving to Vegas. Maybe she's thinking, who knows? Who knows? This could be nothing. This could be her just wanting to go to a gun range in Vegas. Who knows?
Well, you can go to a gun range and shoot guns. You can pay money. You can pay like $100 and shoot a machine gun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can do that. There's a place called the Gun Store. I mean, you can shoot a M16 or an M60 or even like a 50 caliber. If you
Valentina Shevchenko just went into, I don't know if you watched the new Road to the Octagon, but she went into like this warehouse with like a bunch of army guys. They're like, push, where you go through and there's like a bunch of targets that you got to shoot down and stuff like that.
Well, she's the Bullet, so of course she's going to do that.
Bullet KO.
Yeah. So, I don't know, but we'll just have to keep tabs on it because this is interesting. I mean, even though Ronda grew up in California, she kind of strikes me as a little bit of a country girl. You know what I mean? Like a girl who likes to shoot. Maybe not.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Yeah. No, she strikes me as kind of a country girl. So it wouldn't surprise me if she was, if she liked to shoot. Maybe not go hunting and shoot animals.
Looks like a pool girl.
I know she loves animals and everything. Lone Wolf. I mean, Pat is Ronda's biggest fan.
Pat is Ronda's biggest fan.
Is he kidding? Is he being sarcastic or?
Pat loves Ronda. Pat loves Misha. I love Ronda. I love Misha. Hey. What's a gay horse eat? Hey. I'm sorry. Dad, we lost all of our viewers, Dad.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Our principal shutting us down.
No. Not that there's anything wrong. That's a totally harmless joke. All right. So anyway, the last topic: Cody Garbrandt versus T.J. Dillashaw. They are the Tough 25 coaches. They're engaged in a meme war. Have you seen this, Eddie?
I've seen a little bit of it.
So I don't know who did what first, but it's pretty intriguing because you got Cody. He put out a graphic or whatever you want to call it, a Photoshop. He's dressed like Perseus. Okay, and it's a Greek myth. For those who don't know, Perseus was a Greek warrior, and he was charged with he was given the task of cutting off the head of the Gorgon Medusa, and he had help from some of the gods who helped him. So the picture is Cody holding. There it is. I'm not even going to describe it. You can see it. And Snake, T.J. Dillashaw. See, it's snake in the grass, and Medusa has snakes for hair. So you get the whole thing. Okay, so he did that. Cody also posted a photo. Oh, okay, you can put it down now, Eddie. Cody also posted a photo of him when both he and TJ were still with Team Alpha Male. We know TJ's not anymore. He's with Bang Muay Thai. But the two of them are standing there, and I think they're both wearing shirts that say "No Love" or "Cody No Love" or whatever. So Cody's like, look, he's wearing my shirt, ha ha ha, whatever. Then you got Dillashaw embracing the whole snake in the grass thing. So he's got a pic of Cody with a big anaconda wrapped around him, right? And then there was another one where he actually made a graphic. It was like a logo. It said Team Killishaw, and it had a cobra. So it had another snake. And it said, strike first, strike hard, which is actually that actually refers to the Karate Kid. If you remember, the Cobra Kai. Yeah, they wax on, wax off. But the Cobra Kai were the evil. Remember, they were the evil dojo. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that? You know who I am. Who the fuck is that guy? No, but so yeah, Cobra Kai was the evil dojo that wanted to beat up, or actually it did beat him up at one point. Danny, the Karate Kid. So Dillashaw really embracing that whole Dilla snake and ass thing, And I love it. I think it's great.
The best fight we're going to see between these two is if you put them on a season Ultimate Fighter, if you put them both face to face, if you get them to start talking shit. We just saw with Cody No Love, he got Dominic Cruz all sorts of worked up. TJ Dillashaw loves getting hyped up. We saw him on that season Ultimate Fighter with Mayhem Miller and Bisbing. Remember,
yeah.
He thought he was going to win. He thought he was privileged, that he was going to win this whole thing. Ends up losing it to John Dodson. I love that he's playing this role. We're used to seeing TJ as the good guy. Well, he loses his belt. The UFC doesn't want to give him the match. He's getting pissed. Then he goes into his post-fight speech. Well, if I don't get this fight, then you know that the UFC is rigged. Here's the fight with Cody Nola for the belt. Both these guys used to fight on the same for the same gym, on the same team with Uriah Faber. Cody even stood up for TJ Dillashaw when Conor was calling him a snake. That's right.
He stood up, pushed him. Yeah, they had to get pulled apart and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, Cody's very loyal. So that he's got a huge axe to grind. With TJ, who defected to when Bang Ludwig left, and then TJ went with him.
Well, my really quick, just to end my note. My point being, the more you hype these two up, the better fight we're gonna see. That's just what I wanted.
Sorry, Eddie, I didn't mean to jump in on you.
No, I lose track on stuff. People are always tweeting me saying, you went on one thing and then you disappeared on another.
That's that's kind of what happens when you're live and without a net. You know what I mean? When you're doing this stuff live and there's no delay, there's no 7-second delay, and there's nothing. It's just you're out here in the wilderness.
Also, growing up in a city, there's so much going on. My brain's always going. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, you gotta have eyes on the back of your head and everything.
And in this business, your brain's got to be taken off. Look at Joe Rogan. He'll go on one subject and he'll end up freaking talking about aliens.
Hey, so MMA Holes has joined us.
Always joined us a little late, but thanks for joining in.
JIP joined in progress. I think he's got his own show that he does on Wednesdays as well.
The MMA Holes, great show.
Right. Yeah. So all right, he's telling me and everybody he's hopped up on coffee. Yes, sir. Right here. I toast to you. And he's asking, and Eddie's got his. He's saying, did we talk about that weak ass 209 poster? Eddie, can you do me a favor and bring up the 209 poster on your phone real quick? I don't know if I've seen it. Have I seen it? Because I mean it's Woodley and Wonderboy, and Habib and Fergie Ferg. So I mean, two freaking great fights right there. But did they get the intern over at UFC to do it again, like Conor? remember when Conor complained and he's like, he got them to redo the poster?
Yep.
I forget which event
the
that.
Next day.
Yeah, I mean that is having clout right there. That is that's what you call having pull. And MMA Holes is saying he threw us a shout out.
Yeah, brother.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
For
Thank
real.
you, sir.
Ted, I don't see.
You don't have a poster?
I don't see the 209. I see a whole bunch of other posters, which is weird, right?
Wow, man. All right, let me see if I can call it up real quick. And Ann says she's hopped up on Coca-Cola.
That's great.
Dagnabbit, I can't even type.
Hey, and guess what? You were actually our member of the week this week on episode number 35 of Pure Evil MMA. Make sure you guys check it out if you're just tuning in. We spoke with Valentina Shevchenko. We got to speak with Brad Mountain. Members of the week were announced, some MMA trivia. We have a blast. So tomorrow morning, if you're on your commute, I got a 2-hour special show. All the latest MMA news. I break down this weekend's fight card coming up. And also some fun MMA trivia, members of the week, like I just said. And some great interviews coming your way on iTunes, Podbean.com. I'll be airing it tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So if you want to catch it right here on YouTube, all you got to do is search Pure Evil MMA. Ted, were you able to find that image?
I don't know if this is the actual fight poster. I mean, that's just kind of a garden variety fight poster, that they do. I don't think that's the
oh, wait, we didn't see it, Ted. We were on a different scene here. It's all cameras on you now.
Okay. I don't know how well you can see that, but
put it a little closer. I don't think that's it. It might be.
I mean, that's just like a hype thing that they do.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the actual official one. Hold on, I got one more thing I can try here.
There's just so many that I see. I don't think any of them are official though.
Okay, here it is. I got it. It's on Wikipedia.
Well, while we're on this subject, man, I got to say it. Not a lot of the posters have been to my liking. You know who does great? Boss Logic.
Can you see that at all?
Yep. Lame. Totally
lame.
Yeah,
kind of goofy and.
I shut that one right down.
What's
lame,
that?
Lame. Get that out of here. Totally lame.
Out. Yeah, just kind of basic.
I could barely see it. I was like, nope.
I think a fifth grader could do that with Photoshop.
Yeah.
I mean, not too impressed. I'm with you.
Here's the thing, Ted.
There's
so many amazing posters that you see out there on some of these amazing artists' Twitter pages that don't even do much for the sport, but make art way better than the people who are actually hired and paid for to make the actual posters for the UFC. Ridiculous.
MMA holes. Ha! Gay! That's what he's saying. Weak ass poster.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, Eddie. I mean, there's been some great ones out there, and a lot of them are, fan art. Guys that do it for a hobby or whatever. And it's a shame that the UFC can't somehow harness that. You know what I mean? Like have a contest at the very least for each numbered pay-per-view event.
Yeah.
Have a contest, pick the best.
Pay the winner.
Give him throw him a bone. Throw him
gift card for a couple free pay-per-views, or that pay-per-view for free. How about that?
There you go.
There you go. That.
I mean, make it more fan interactive. I mean, you're WME IMG. You're trying to save money,
Wait,
right?
Who am I?
You're Eddie. But say, so WME IMG, they want to save money, right?
Yeah.
Well, they can get rid of some of get rid of the intern, get rid of the graphics department, and just have the fans make the posters.
Well, they got rid of the social media department not too long ago.
And they replaced them.
The piracy department as well.
Well, they brought their own. Their own.
Yep. They let go of the ones they had for the UFC though.
Okay. Yeah, so I remember that because there was a question as to whether they were going to clamp down as hard on people with WME IMG with those new people in, because people like to do, fans like to do highlight videos on YouTube and GIFs and things like that. So the question was, is it going to be status quo, or are they going to kind of relax a little bit on that? So I'm not really sure what the verdict is on that one.
Tell you what though, Ted, my pay-per-view stream's coming just fine. Still.
I'm glad to hear that, Eddie. Hey, did you see that Garbrandt and Dillashaw released who their coaching staffs are? Who's going to be on their staffs?
Yeah, I did. Let's discuss that really quick, and then we know how we close the show down. We hand it over to the chat room for one or two questions. Ted, who's on the staff right now?
All right, so Garbrandt has Uriah Faber. You could probably guess that. I mean, that's his guy. That's his mentor, you know. And then Danny Castillo, who also recently retired. Then you got Fabio Prado, who I'm guessing is a BJJ guy. And then a guy named Robert Meese, who I don't know I've ever heard of, but I'm sure he's very good at whatever he does. Now, on the other side, Dillashaw, of course, Dwayne Ludwig. And then you got Matt Brown, Matt the Immortal Brown.
Wow.
In there. And Elliot the Fire Marshall, who I guess is retired from fighting, but he used to be in the UFC. I think he was on The Ultimate Fighter at one point. He's a very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. And then a guy named Leicester Bowling. Who's who's another guy, that I'm not really familiar with, who's apparently a renowned MMA coach.
Yeah.
So yeah, some good guys there.
This is gonna be interesting, man, with that lineup there. Matt Brown, you got Dwayne, you got Faber. Somebody might end up crying. I bet Faber will end up crying because it's like his boys. You know what I mean? Like these are like he raised these fighters in a way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's no love lost between Uriah Faber and Dwayne Ludwig.
No love is still in the running.
No, I get it. All right.
Nope.
So yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if the two of those guys start going at it. You know, maybe not physically, but they're going to be yapping at each other at the very least.
This is going to be an interesting season. I like it. I like this idea. I was kind of against it when it first came out. I love the cast members too. This is what's going to make the season great is this entire cast coming together of all the people who were in Ultimate Fighter. There's some people who are from the UFC that are on this season Ultimate Fighter trying to get into the house as well.
Right. I think there's a couple guys that are like on the bubble. You know what I mean? Like maybe they have 2 losses, something like that. So they're kind of in danger of getting the pink slip. So this is kind of their way to for redemption. I mean,
it's called redemption.
That's the name of it. But I mean, and they got a couple of crazy guys in there. Junie Browning. I mean, that guy was insane. And then the other guy there, Julian Lane, whose phrase I already used. Let me bang, bro.
Yeah.
Julian Lane. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Junie Browning and Julian Lane in a big house with a pool and an unlimited amount of alcohol? That's just the perfect storm.
This is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to this. I hope this draws in a lot of great ratings. I've heard that they've cut down on the budget, but they got a great story here. So we're going to see what they do coming up with that. Let me know what you guys think about this fight, about this lineup coming down. Tough 25.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I've interviewed a bunch of the guys that are going to be on the season, and every season it's like, oh, are you team No Love or are you team Dillashaw? But really, there's no teams. It's every man for himself on Ultimate Fighter.
Well, at the end of the day, it is really. Yeah. I mean, they like to kind of have that whole team thing and then coaches challenge and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, at the end of the day, you know, it's 2 guys in the cage, you know.
Is this going to be a pay-per-view fight at the end of this, do you think? Title fight.
It should be. I mean,
like, will they do the Ultimate Fighter and then the following day, like, you know how they kind of do like on Fight Week, kind of?
Yeah. They might do something like that. Like have the Ultimate Fighter finale on a Friday night and then this on a Saturday, something like that. I could see happening. Yeah.
Hey,
for sure.
Well, you know what, Ted? I'm totally ready for it. I think we had a great episode tonight. We're almost at 2.5 hours right now. So for everybody that came for the long haul of tonight's show, I want to thank you so much. What we like to do now. At the closing of every show, live, we got the chat room there. Just as much of the part of the show as me and Ted are here hosting. We're going to send it over to you guys. If you guys got any questions at all, time's now yours.
And I just want to say, while people are furiously typing away, Muradai said, good news, Alexander Gustafsson back to training, and he doesn't have any pain in his back.
Thank you so much for that correspondence.
Yeah, that apparently is where he was having all the trouble, and he's apparently pain-free. So that is awesome. He's great. I love Gustafsson. And Jimmy Manua, who I guess they trained together. And remember, Gustafsson beat Manua, and then after that they started training together. Gustafsson seems to do that. Remember, he got beat by Phil Davis. Then he said, "Dude, you got to show me how to wrestle." But yeah, Manua calling him the best fighter in the world. Hey, I mean, I'm from the camp that believes that Gus actually beat John Jones. So, you know what I'm saying?
Spinning elbow for spinning elbows.
Yeah. Ann says, great episode. She had a lot of fun. We did too. We appreciate it. We appreciate Ann is the best, you know? I mean, not just Ann,
Well,
everybody.
member of the week. You know what? I still got to send out the, I got the logo printed out. Remember I was telling you I got the logo printed out? I got to send it out to all of the viewers. Still got to do that this week.
Okay. Oh, MMA Holes says he's bummed that Travis Brown and Derek Lewis are not at 208.
So we brought this up earlier in the episode. I know that you tuned in a little late. It is crazy, but I'm giving this one to him because he's changing his camp. He was with Edmund, changing his camp. I'm not bummed. If he loses this fight, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone. Travis Brown used to be a phenomenal fighter. He had great footwork. We're not seeing that footwork anymore. We're not seeing the same scary Travis Brown that we're used to. We're seeing flat-footed Travis Brown who just wants to stand and bang. And it's not doing well. Verdum came in there with a freaking spinning fly kick at him.
Oh, that was a Bruce Lee flying sidekick, man.
And then Cain Velasquez even did a spin kick at him at UFC 200.
Well, I mean, I think you're going to see a different Travis Brown.
I want to see the old Travis Brown. I don't want to see a different. I want to see the old Travis Brown.
Years ago, I interviewed Phil Davis. I'm going back a ways. This was before, and this is when, I don't know if Phil's still training in San Diego with Alliance, but when he was, he's like, I got a guy for you. You keep your eyes and ears open for a guy named Travis Brown. He's 6'7". He's huge. He's knocking fools out. And this was long before Travis Brown ever got into the UFC. And Phil Davis was telling me about him. I just think, I think going with Edmund was a huge mistake. And now he's made probably one of the best decisions of his life in leaving there. So, we'll just have to see if it's enough. But my question for you, Eddie, real quick is, did they take them off of 208 and put them on the Halifax card because they needed something that kind of resembled a main event?
If you're looking for a main event, that's the wrong weight class to go 5 rounds with. We just saw in that fight with Derek Lewis, his last fight was 5 rounds. Very slow fight. A lot of people weren't happy with it, even though he won the fight and he won it. He finished the fight.
Right.
People weren't happy with it. You know how that goes, Ted.
I mean, is that the reason for the move? It's not because of Travis saying, "Well, I'm changing camp, so I need more time."
Originally, that's what I thought, but I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, if he asked for it, I would hope the UFC would be like, "Fine, like we understand you were with that guy. Okay, fine."
Because wasn't it going to be J.D.S. versus Struve, and then Struve got injured and they pulled J.D.S.
Yeah.
So they moved these guys in. I think that's how it went, right? Are that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Oh! Breaking news!
Oh!
Sammy just came in.
Sammy.
Oh, hold up. UFC 210 just booked DC versus Rumble 2.
Yeah, I heard that this afternoon. Great news.
You heard it this afternoon, did you?
I retweeted it this afternoon. Yes.
Thank you for telling me, Eddie. Appreciate that. Wow.
Yeah, The reason why I wasn't too excited about it because I don't have faith it's gonna go through again. Something's gonna happen. It always does.
Well, I mean, okay, so who? Oh, Pat.
Pat's back.
What does Pat say?
First round knockout.
You got it. I know it was tough. I know you were on the fence.
Pat, when I told you when we first started doing the show, and I told you who Pat was, and you started saying all these first round knockouts and making the prediction, would you have thought he would be our UFC Pick'em winner of the year?
No.
I didn't think so. Well, he was.
Well, I mean, heck, if you say first round knockout for every single fight, sooner or later you're going to be right.
You have better shot going decision. I think, though, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But do you differentiate between unanimous decision and split decision, or do you just say decision?
You just go decision for it.
Oh, well, heck, I'd pick that every time. Damn.
Yeah. Listen, if you guys want to make your predictions, you're listening to the show right now, you want to see all of my predictions, want to see the rest of the people listening to the show, all you got to do is message me on Twitter at PureEvilMMA. We have a UFC Pick'em League that you can be a part of. Let me know if you want to join it at PureEvilMMA. All right, Ted, one last question to round off tonight's show.
Well, I was just thanking Sam for telling me the news.
Yeah, thanks,
my
Sam.
Since my co-host could
Holding
not
out.
inform me that DC Rumble 2 was set for I can't even talk now. UFC 210. Thanks, Eddie. I can count on you.
We got to give Ariel credit, man. He's been doing shows for like 4 hours straight. We're at the 2.5 hour mark right now, man.
Well, you know what? I think this is good, but I would rather not pull a Bruce Springsteen and have a 4-hour show.
Yeah.
I think people get tired of that.
Well, if you're interviewing UFC stars, there's a lot to talk about, so.
Well,
when you're doing a show like this, I mean, not many shows are 2 hours long, just straight up MMA news,
Right. Even Joe Rogan goes off on crazy shit about aliens or God knows what, pyramids.
Joe has a great show. He brings on all sorts of guys.
Yeah, I mean, I like that we kind of stick with the MMA. I almost said the MMA.
No,
Well,
I said that in an interview this week, joking around, and I was hoping the fighter understood I was joking around, not like some idiot.
Yeah, like Floyd Mayweather, the MMA. It's not the MMA. It's just MMA.
Like that politician trying to shut it down in New York.
The guy that got arrested.
No. But there's also news of they're trying to cut back on the budget. Whoever's like in charge of the New York State Athletic Commission gets like $100,000 a year or something like that. And they're cutting that. Apparently, I heard this week as well. There's a bunch of news I discussed on episode 35 of Pure Evil MMA. If you guys want to hear some more news on top of this, make sure you check it out tomorrow morning on your commute, whether you're at the gym. You might be tanning. If you are, I'm jealous. Or if you're shoveling snow tomorrow morning, check it out. Pure Evil MMA episode 35 up on Apple, iTunes, Podbean.com. Also, this show, if you tuned in late, don't worry. It's going to be up on Ted's channel. It's going to be on my channel on YouTube. Also on iTunes and Podbean.com. Ted, last question. Let's get this show finished.
Ann says we rock, and I said, Ann, you rock too.
Let's
So
go
I think
Detroit, Rock City.
I think that is a great way to end it. Thanks to everybody. Muradai, Sammy, MMA Holes. Who else did we have here? Pat, of course. I'm looking back here, I don't want to forget anyone. Eddie, help me out here.
What about Megan O'Leary?
Megan was here. Megan O'Leary / Brooklyn / the champ is here, even though she says her name is not Brooklyn. Everybody. Minion.
Minion
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
Macranyan. So anyway, that's it. That's it, Eddie. Thanks to everybody. We appreciate it. And we'll be back next week.
All right, Ted, closing lines. You can find me at Pure Evil MMA on Twitter and at Pure Evil MMA on Facebook and at Pure Evil MMA on Instagram. Follow Ted Czech at Ted Czech. That's not CHECK. That's TEDCZECH. Until next week, guys, I'm Evil Eddie from Pure Evil MMA, frontproofmedia.com. That's Ted Czech. Subscribe down below. We'll see you next week. Behave yourselves.